All right, so the gang's all here now. For some reason, my email did not send anything, but with that being said, welcome back to the Monday night special of the Boys in the Big Apple podcast. We got Sean and Luca with us. Glad to be here with these two. Have a lot of topics to talk about as usual, fun topics, but also sports topics as well. We're going to talk about MLB, NBA playoffs, the Yankees sucking in the most recent days. Obviously, we welcome all questions of all sorts, no politics as usual. So I'm going to give it to Sean to start off. Then I'll give it to Luca. And obviously, we'll go over my thoughts. And I think I know what the topic is first. But once again, I will hand it over to Sean on just the general sports world and how he's doing today.
First off, I got some very painful news right now. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish baseball team are down 7-1 in the second inning. It's on ESPN2 if anybody wants to tune in. I'm all good. I think Alex already alluded to our first topic. I've just about had it with this Yankee team. I really have. I've never seen something so pathetic in my lifetime. They're almost unwatchable at this point. Especially considering I live amongst a bunch of moronic Philadelphians. That makes it all the more great. So, we'll get into that in a minute. I'll let Luca do his thing first.
Real quickly, shout-outs to Joseph. Shout-outs to Michael B. in the chat and anyone else who's watching who has not commented yet.
I don't really have much to bring up about thoughts otherwise that the Yankees – well, it's been exciting for the NBA playoffs. That's pretty much that. But the Yankees just keep on sucking.
No other way to put it.
Well, all right, I guess. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Yankees first, but once again, we do have a couple of topics. I came up with one, I think it was about last night or maybe early this morning, talk about NFL commentators, but once again, this Yankee team.
Before we get into that, I should note, Chet, I'm going to see how late I can stay on tonight in the stream. I may not be here for the whole thing because I got to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow. So I'll stay on as long as possible. So that's just something to note for everybody. That's just because it's work schedule. I got a 3 a.m. trip to New York on Wednesday. So I'm going to stay on as long as I can for you guys.
Well, other than Joseph, and I don't know where the hell Luca just went. Other than Joseph, nobody really wants to hear Sean. So I'm just kidding about that. Let me quickly change the resolution of my camera because for some reason it's not, it's lagging out. At least from what I see. I don't know what you guys see, but quickly I'm going to. All right, it's obviously in 480p now, but once again, yeah, I'll send out the link in a little while, Joseph.
Sorry, I was blocking the door.
Okay, that's all. That's good. All right. Anyway, so let's talk about the Yankees and something I remarked on. I'll let Luca handle it first because he really didn't say much of anything. If you want to go ahead and really start a thing for the Phillies series and how we can get into that, I'm just going to fix something real quickly with my lighting so I don't look like a shining star, even though I am one. Thank you very much, guys. So, Luca, you want to go on? Shut up, Sean. Start it off, Luca.
No.
For the Phillies series.
Well, we can also talk about the Twins series. It was not just the Phillies series. As we see a slow ground ball. Fires first. All right, end of the inning. Good. Anyway, I'm watching me and Sean are probably watching the Notre Dame game. Notre Dame versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State up 7-1 going to the top of the third.
Winner advances to Omaha.
Anyway, when talking about the Yankees had two series pass by. It was the Twins and the Phillies. The Yankees took 2 out of 3 in the Twins, and they got swept by the Phillies. What I think led to their negative energy was, well, first they took the first 2 games. Let's pull up the we'll pull up the series and go try to recap it as short as possible.
Evan, what are the Mets doing right now? I know they took 2 out of 3 from San Diego.
Second here, sorry for the wait. So
all I say is you guys better be grateful you don't still live up here. Phillies fans have been running their mouths.
So the first game was a 8-4 victory over the Minnesota Twins. Taylor Rogers with the loss, Jonathan Weisiger for the win. Jordan Montgomery pitched 5 2/3 innings, struck out 6, and gave up 8 hits on 3 runs for the Minnesota Twins. The starter was former Yankee Michael Pineda. Gave up 4 hits on 2 runs. Well, 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 4 1/3 innings pitched. The Yankees outsplash in the 9th inning and the 8th innings were a key part. The next game.
Sixers are up, by the way. Sixers are up 28-20.
Okay. I don't want to root for the Sixers, but I might just have to. Anyway. Then the Yankees went.
I'm not rooting for anybody I'm not rooting for anybody from Philadelphia after this past weekend. Yes, sir, Joseph.
And the Yankees won 9-6 on June 9th, Wednesday. Garrett Cole with his 7th victory of the season. Randy Dobnak with his 6th loss. In the final game of the set, it was J. Happ versus Michael King, because Michael King is in for Corey Kluber. King struck out three batters, walked 3 batters, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, and pitched 3 2/3 innings. The bullpen took it from there, but in the bottom of the 9th, Yankees were up by a
9
score.
pitches.
Yeah.
9 pitches is all it took for them to completely crap the bed.
Yep. And this is a double by Notre Dame.
Chapman had no command whatsoever.
Chapman gave up 4 runs. First, it was a game-tying 2-run home run by Josh Donaldson.
Of all people.
Yeah. And he had beef with Garrett Cole. Well, not actual beef, but because of the whole substance thing. Anyway.
There's beef. Trust me, there's beef.
Anyway, we go to 2 batters later. 40-year-old, I got to say he's like late 30s, early 40s. Nelson Cruz hits a 2-run walk-off. The point of my little emphasis is Chapman's fastball was not up to full strength. I don't know what fastball. I don't know what it caught up on the radar gun, but he was. All I knew is he was.
There's one thing I want to point out though.
Okay.
Everybody's blaming Chapman for the loss on Saturday. It's not his fault that the offense did absolutely nothing in the top of the 10th, and you have this crappy rule and another hit. I think, another hit for Notre Dame. So hopefully they're on the comeback trail. It's not Chapman's fault that his offense did nothing he shouldn't have given up the run, but it doesn't help when your offense didn't do anything. They were nothing all day until that 9th inning. Or was it the 9th or the 8th? I was listening to it on radio.
I watched the entire game, and in the 10th is when they took it off. When they took it home. Yeah. Meaning the Phillies. You know why they took it home, Sean? It's because it's because the Phillies used fundamentals. Ooh. Fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Letting the run over.
That thing that doesn't exist.
The Yankees lost Saturday. They had initially a great comeback. Sanchez hit a home run, and I think in the second inning. LeMahieu ties the game with a 3-run home run off of Hector Neris. Silent ninth.
That place in the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Silent bottom of the 9th inning. 10th inning. We do absolutely nothing. I think 3 people struck out after the runner was on second. So that was just basically the entire inning.
They put up 7 runs, but it felt like they put up 2. They just got lucky. Hector Neris was terrible. I'm going to say, I'm not afraid to say it. Hector Neris is the only reason that game was competitive. Offense
he's very inconsistent. But anyway, to the bottom of the 10th we go. Runners on second. Remember, we have 2 alike situations. We had the runner on second, top of the 10th. They had the runner on second, bottom of the 10th. You know what we didn't do, as I just mentioned? We didn't bunt the guy over. We didn't use fundamental baseball and bunt the guy over. Joe Girardi, fundamental baseball man, has his guys bunt over the runner over third. Next at bat, I believe it was, a ground ball to Urshela, diving play, which I give him credit for. You don't want that ball going out of the infield, but it wasn't a great throw, and I don't really blame him for the bad throw because that's a really tough tough thing. It's a really tough play to make.
Cat problem, cat delay.
Yeah, I said this at the beginning, but it's probably not his fault. Anyway, my point, as I said to both you guys in the afternoon when I was going over this stuff.
She was in here prior to me putting the sign up. So, Alex, go ahead.
Runners in scoring position. That's kind of something I pointed out. And going back to, what I said earlier, and I was talking with these three, obviously, and stuff we talk about on here. Do the Phillies have power hitters except for Rhys Hoskins and Bryce Harper?
JT Realmuto, and that's about it.
Realmuto, yes. Okay, let's go with that. They have 3. But we're supposed to be the power hitting team. And you know what? It's the tale of two sides, really. Yes, Buffy is giving you the podcast vibes right now, Joseph. It's the tale of two sides. Because the Yankees have more power. Didn't manage to do anything in the top of the 10th. When you have that runner on second. Nope. And I said this in my recap. If you're not going to complain to Rob Manfred about the rules and you're making millions of dollars, well, you can't be bitching about the rules. You have to play by them. Sorry.
Exactly.
People are talking about the DH.
The rules suck, but we got to live with it. The rule sucks, but we got to live with it.
It's not the fans speaking up. It's the coaches and the managers and the players that have to speak up in the unions. They don't like this rule.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Go say something. If you're not going to say anything, well, you know what, buddy? You have to play by it. And
I don't know if
you have been extremely terrible in extra innings this year. You were saying?
Yeah.
I have no idea if you guys just mentioned it because I had to do something for a split second. I was trying to advertise the link and whatnot without voices and stuff overlapping, but there were people out there really blaming the extra inning rule. I'm like, are you serious?
We are so past that, though.
You can't make excuses. We've dealt with this for over almost a year now. Next month it turns a year old. Unless you want to include minor leagues, but that's a different discussion. It's been there for a while. We don't like it. No one does. But that's the rule. You got to play by it. And you're the away team. You have that advantage. You have the advantage to score first. And half that ballpark was Yankee fans. So you had literal home field advantage. I don't want to hear this the away team has the advantage, the advantage. No, because the Yankees, they're 2 hours apart. Right down the Garden State Parkway. Bam. You're in Philadelphia. I don't want to hear any more excuse about the rules. It sucks. We know it sucks. It's terrible. Doesn't belong anywhere near a major league field, a minor league field, a college field, high school, whatever. But we can't keep making the same excuse. There's no excuse for this. There's not. You can't keep using the same thing.
It's so comparable to the excuse that the Yankees' offense sucks because the ball got deadened. But many other teams are hitting. Many other teams are hitting. The Red Sox are hitting. The Rays are hitting. The Blue Jays are hitting. The White Sox
can't hit home runs.
Dodgers, Padres, Giants.
Here's a solution. If you can't hit a home run because the ball is deadened, why don't you try to drive it to left center field? Why don't you drive it to right center? Why don't you drive it up the middle? Wouldn't that be logical? No, because home runs only matter.
I said this in my recap that came out today. We are going. Yes, they literally. Yeah. I mean, if they beat
the Blue Jays,
the second place team.
If the Blue Jays win, they're the best team in New York, and they don't even. It's not even their home.
And going back to my
fans
point,
are going to argue that, but
and going back to my point, we're talking about they don't have a lot of power, and the Phillies fans have been complaining. Well, obviously, I haven't watched the whole Phillies season, so I can't really say much. But based off the Yankees series, you would think that they're a fundamentally sound team. I said this to you all earlier, and I'll say it to you as in the audience.
That pitcher's low.
It was low.
As they're watching the Notre Dame game, but that's okay as well. I might just put it on myself. With that being said, yesterday,
ESPN
6 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Once again, how do you get 13 opportunities?
How do you get that many opportunities?
You don't. The pitching was horrible.
Well, it's because the pitching laid back and died. Tyone,
if I'm not mistaken, it's like 47 or 42%. If I'm not mistaken, it's 42 or 47% with runners in scoring position. Whatever it is, it's it's good. You don't have to be 50%. You have to be 60.
Batting average.
Huh?
Well, just looking at batting average wise, that's like a 400 something batting average.
Yeah, like 425, 440, whatever. So you go the day before when Tyan, and I'm done. I'm done making excuses for Tyan. I'm sorry, but he's gotten so many starts, and I understand that the offense has neglected him, but 4 runs in the first inning. Why? Just tell me why.
Evan, I'm going to say this. The pitching for a lot of this season has not been the complete problem. The problem is we had great pitching performances and the hitters weren't, doing anything. Now that the pitching sucks, you got to turn to the hitting. Where's the hitting? No, we laid back and died yesterday. Saturday we got lucky because Hector Neris is a bum. The hitting has not changed this year.
And well, I mean,
really,
you finish up what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, that was good.
All right. So Tyan, and as I said, I'm done making excuses for him because his batting average against, which is something I look upon for pitchers, is a 265. That's not good. And when I'm talking about fundamentally sound and runners in scoring position, Phillies the day before 8 for 19 with runners in scoring position. How you get 19 opportunities to have runs score? How?
Because runners. Hold on, Alex. You're not getting the central point. Because runners are getting on base. They're starting the rallies. They're walking. They're getting hits. They're doing what they need to do to start the rallies. We're just swinging up there for the home run.
Yeah. That's what we're doing. And Philadelphia is not exactly known to be. I could be. Correct me if I'm wrong when I say this. I don't remember Philly's dimensions, but Philadelphia does not exactly look like a home run hitter's ballpark. That field is big.
I don't think it is.
Right.
No, if you even look at the wall in right field, that's not easy.
It's a big
to
wall.
run over. Same with left field. I mean, center field again. But our point is
now
this.
We have to go to a field up in Buffalo where the wind now kicks in. So that might be why does Pilar looks like Batman? I forgot he got hit in the face. Glad he's doing well though. By the way, Mets are up 3-0. Now we got to go to a field in Buffalo where wind is going to be kicking in. So now they're going to be swinging for more power because they're afraid the wind is going to hold it up. I'm not saying wind isn't a big factor in major league ballparks, but now you got more open air because there's no upper deck. What are the Yankees going to do now? And Boston's coming off of an 18-run game up in Boston.
And what really pisses me off, and I said this during the series, well, actually in the recap as well, as many people remarked upon.
Buffalo's right by the lake, so I think it's Lake Erie. Yeah, Lake Erie. So they're going to be getting the wind effects off of that too, especially at the thunderstorms we had today.
What really pissed me off during the series, and I understand their kind of points, but it's just still ridiculous when the hitting is the weak spot. Even when Judge was in, why are you not playing Stanton? Why? The second game, look at the freaking lineup. Odor in the 3-hole. You got 3 stray outfielders at the bottom of the lineup before the pitcher. What is that? What is the lineup? And I'm not saying it's all Boone's fault because the players have to execute. But why are we not putting Stanton? He's 31 years old. He's played right field before. He's not Ortiz. And even David Ortiz played first base to start his career. So why are we the Red Sox at the last point
than Andujar.
Real quickly. The Red Sox at the last point, if I can remember, at the end of Ortiz's career, even played him at first base. I think Red Sox fans, you guys can correct me on that one.
Yeah,
occasionally, not very often.
Well, they said if
not very often.
Like this, I think they would do it. John Farrell was the manager. This
they
wasn't
would.
Alex Cora. This wasn't Ron Renicky.
And Andujar's still got a lot to prove in left field. Stanton's proven he could play left field and right field. And Stanton's been Stanton, he knows Philadelphia. He played there for many, many years for the Marlins. He knows that ballpark, and he has to know that team better than most of the Yankee players.
And they should honestly, most of this team they should know because last year, who did we play? We played the East.
We
played the Phillies. So what changes?
We played in Philadelphia for 3 games.
I don't remember any spectacular changes that the Phillies made. And once again,
no,
they find alternatives to power with runners in
It's
scoring
gone.
position because Girardi's the manager and they give him leeway to do what the hell he wants. We all
It's not
said it
looking
before,
good right
Boone's
now.
not it. And I'm getting really sick
Not
of
good.
I think Luca wanted to go on. I don't know if anyone wanted to go on a rant on a different Yankee subject, but I'm going to bring this up.
I want to rant about something, but it's not particularly related to the Yankees.
Okay.
It's Yankees related, but not Yankees related.
Okay. So, honestly, and going back to my one video, obviously you guys haven't already checked it out, I'm done with Gary Sanchez as a catcher. That's me.
He's gotten better, though. You do have to admit. He's been getting better. He's been getting better. If he can keep this up and he starts to pick up the pace, I'll give him I'm still willing to give him a chance. He's still our catcher. We can't root against him. You root against him, you're a fake fan.
Nobody's saying root against him here. What I'm trying to say is that, he's hitting better of late. I still don't think he's the answer because I need to see consistency. But then,
Yeah, exactly.
But here's my issue. Over the weekend, you had, and I don't like to trash former players, but this is my honest opinion. Why is somebody like CeCe going on Gary's account and commenting and trying to trash fans? Because one fan said, "Oh, he can't really hit. He's a bust." Well, you know what? I understand that the fan may be an asshole or whatever, but the fan can do what it wants. If you're trying to, if you get what I'm trying to say, and I'm not defending fans. If he was saying, "Huh,"
the fan has the right to say whatever. CeCe, I think, should just let that go.
And I'm getting really tired of some of these athletes out here saying, "Oh, well, and basically commenting after these fans. You're going to get hate." And you know what, CeCe, have you had up and downs in your career? Absolutely, because that's what he said to the guy. He's like, "Oh, you haven't? Have you had up and downs in your job career?" Well, yeah. Have you, CeCe? And people have hated on you for it. I mean, come on. Let's not sit here and act like Gary Sanchez is not wrongdoing of anything in this season. Please. He's a big mental errors machine, but he's been hitting well of late. I will still root for him on the field, but I'm not giving him, and this is funny because it's the Yankees fan base as well, and I'm not going to criticize the one guy that CeCe replied to. I'm going to criticize some of the fan base as a whole. Gary haters. That's a bit, when you say hate and criticize, it's different. Different story. A lot of people don't get that because a lot of people don't think to that extent. They don't use 100% of their brain. With that being said, Gary haters, some of them are classified as criticizers because they criticize when Gary does something wrong. Right now, everybody loves Gary. And I'm just saying, okay, I need to see more consistency.
They're bipolar with Gary.
Yeah. And if Gary
they love him, they hate him.
And if Gary starts to suck at some point,
everybody's going to hate him again.
On him, the fan base will flip over and say, "Get him out of here." And then one person, and real quickly, one person commented to one of the people who said the fan was right. He goes, "You should be ashamed to be a Dominican Yankees fan." Who the hell are you to say that, bro?
Honestly.
What does Dominican have to do anything with that conversation? It's just standing on one side or the other. Tires the shit out of me when people say crap like that. But once again, hey, we're going to see it. And I don't have a crystal ball in front of me. I don't want to wish harm on anybody or, that Gary Sanchez sucks because he's a part of this team. But if he starts struggling again, hey, it's going to be bipolarness.
Hey, we warned you. We warned you. That's all we're going to say. You know what? Until Boone is gone, this team's doing nothing. Getting a little angry at a question, that's probably more anger than he showed against his team.
Let's bring that up. Because I'm going to bring that up. Alex, after I bring that up, do you want me to put my article up and then we can go through it together?
If you want, sure.
All right. So, Brian Hoke he's MLB.com, right?
Yes.
Brian Hoke, Yankees beat reporter for MLB.com. He asked Aaron Boone, do you think the guys in there are getting tired of losing? Well,
getting used to
losing. Thank you for correcting me. I'm going to pull up the full response to what he said. I'm not going to pull up the video. I'm going to put up the response. You know what? I'm going to look at his Twitter. Just give me a sec, because I always got to pull these things up.
Yeah, it should be there. And if it's not there, I'm sure there's probably a Yankee fan that posted it somewhere. I saw it on Instagram. That's where I saw it.
So Aaron Boone said, I know them too well. I don't think there's any getting used to freaking losing. Hell no, get the hell out of here with that. I'm not a big fan of beat reporters. Alex knows that. Sean knows that. I know that.
Yeah.
But can you get pissed off at your freaking baseball team instead of getting pissed off at the reporter who's trying to press you for freaking for giving you cookie cutter shit? Enough. Be pissed
I respect
off.
him for the fact that he actually showed. He showed. I'm trying to say this without saying what I mean. He actually, had the guts to ask the questions. That's what the New York media should be more like. And he did it. And Boone didn't like that. Maybe you should get mad at your team. Don't get mad at the reporter.
Irish just hit a home run, I think. Or is it foul?
It looks like it's foul.
Ah, damn. But to Sean's point, he asked the question. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to bring this back from a week ago or so. People were asking Lindsay Adler to press Aaron Boone. And she's like, we've pressed him, but he's given the same answers. Keep pressing him until he blows up.
Yeah.
Until you actually get a fucking response. I'm sick and tired of hearing, I saw some good things.
Yeah. We're going to get better. We're going to get better,
I'm sick of the nonsense, dude. Hoke actually, I give him 100% credit. I'm not a big beat reporter fan.
I love Brian Hoke's work. I'm pursuing a career to follow his path. He's done an amazing job, and I give him. He's truly earned. Sixers are up 55-38. By the way, he has earned my credit. Yeah, he really has. Because he asked the question, Boone didn't like it. If you don't like it, fire up your team. Flip some tables over. Punch some holes in the wall. Break a few things. Break a couple bats. Make this team realize they suck right now. Don't just be like, all right, we got to work on this, this, and this. But you do that and everybody can ask for a trade. Everybody will ask for a trade.
But you know what, Sean? Everybody was against Girardi for being like cookie cutter and bad to the media. What's changed with Aaron Boone? He's like, I saw some good things. We need to get better. He's Captain fucking Obvious.
He's a yes man. He gives you a corporate answer. That's what you're gonna get. Now I want to say this, and I think I said this last week too. Everybody's calling for Cashman's job too. I'm not putting all the blame on him. Yes, he sucks up to the analytics, but he's given us a good roster. We're just not producing. I truly believe it's Boone. Cashman, sure, he, like I said, and yes, I do think him and Hal need to friggin' address the media. That needs to happen. But Cashman, he gave us the roster. We're just not doing anything with it. Just like the Phillies, they have a very talented roster. They just haven't been able to produce. So I'm not blaming Cashman for any of this. I explain how you got Stan, the home run king, a couple years ago. Aaron Judge drafted him. Look what he's turned into. Got one of the best pitchers in the league in Garrett Cole. Gary Sanchez. Look how good he was before friggin' Aaron Boone came in. We have the roster. We probably have one of the best built rosters in the league. Maybe not the best, but one of the best. How can you blame Cashman? You guys wanted DJ? You got DJ. You wanted Cole? He got you Cole. That's why I don't understand the Cashman hate. It's Boone.
They're going after Cashman.
I truly believe
One
that.
of the reasons is because of the tie-in trade and how it looks right now.
Okay, everybody has bad trades. That cannot be denied. This title trade has not worked.
No, it hasn't. And somebody went on a rant. I think it was NYY Recaps. He was basically saying, why would you go after three pitchers who pitched a combined of one inning in the last 2 years or something like that? Because
Kluber's, when he was healthy, he was starting to prove a lot of people wrong. When he had that no-hitter, he was having some good performances. And it doesn't help either now that I see. What makes it what sucks even worse is we're supposed to be getting Severino soon. We don't even know what's going to happen with that. We've got no update on what happened in Brooklyn. He couldn't even walk off the field.
Real quickly, I do want
Saturday has to be one of the darkest days of the season. Because not only did we lose to Philly again. Well, no, excuse me. That's the first time we lost to them. But our supposed secondary ace pitcher, the guy that several years ago we were comparing to Jacob deGrom, he can't get back on the field. He played. How many innings did he pitch against Brooklyn the other day?
I actually don't know.
One or two. I think he was taking on the bottom of the second or bottom of the third.
He landed awkwardly, and he couldn't even walk off the field. And the fact that it's taking this long is worrying. Severino might as well just say forget it and play next year. What's good out of this organization right now? Somebody tell me what has come good out of this season so far. Oh, we beat the Astros. Cool. Where's that gotten us so far?
Astros are a good team right now.
It's barely above 500.
You know what? I'm going to take in part with Sean's. I'm going to rebut Sean's point with the blaming Cashman and stuff. Yes, you can credit Cashman. I'm not saying fire Cashman. Do not think I'm saying that. Yes, he got you Stanton. He's produced, especially in the playoffs. Garrett Cole, excellent pitcher. Got him. He's still pitching very well. Pitching up to his contract. That's what I believe.
Especially Chapman too.
Especially in the postseason.
Chapman, one of the best closers in baseball.
Aroldis Chapman, one of the best closers in baseball. DJ LeMahieu is a contact hitter. I'm just saying this right now. People are going to blame the general manager whenever a player that was highly regarded is signed and doesn't perform. That's just how it is. But
I truly believe. Good. Finish your statement because I do want to add to that.
What I believe is Cashman's fault is you mentioned it. The lack of change in the team philosophy, the analytics, and all that. The lack of adjustments with the game plan. The what do you call it? What's the word? The yes man stuff. I mean, it's one thing to refer to analytics, but it's their entire game plan. It's their entire game plan. That's not supposed to be. And see,
that was a nice shot, but didn't go anywhere. My thing is, he got us the good players. I think it's up to the coaches and the player themselves to live up to those expectations. Look at the Mets right now with Francisco Lindor. They got Lindor because he's one of the best shortstops in the game. He didn't produce. Is that the general manager's fault? No, because he's not producing. It's either his fault or it's the coaches giving him or coaches teaching him bad information.
Well,
that's how I look at it.
I agree with you 100%, Sean. The second thing I would blame Cashman for is the lefty imbalance, the righty, excuse me, the imbalance.
I know it's
the imbalance in the line.
Righties and lefties. It's all righties, and you got the short porch and left.
Right, I understand your point there. And we look at, as I brought up,
we got our short porch and right, but it's a lefty ballpark. You need lefties. Odor's garbage. You can talk all you want about how good he was before he got hurt. He's no good anymore. Gardner's past his prime. I'm honestly not wondering. I'm not sure why they brought him back. You traded Talkman, which is backfiring big time right now because he's hit so many big shots in San Francisco. That's all he's been doing.
But again, I do blame Cashman for the imbalance. I blame him for re-signing Gardner. That's just, to me, that's just rewarding somebody for loyalty. That's just me. Or rewarding the guy for coming back to the organization. That's how I.
That's exactly what he did because Gardner's not going to go anywhere else. We know that. Gardner, it's either New York or he's going to retire. The Bronx, I should say.
I think he should have retired. He's not shown us anything this far. He's not ageless. He's aging very badly. He started last year. And
last year should have been a wake-up call. His final good year was 2019.
Right, Mike Talkman right now in total is hitting 185, but he's hit 3 home runs and 12 RBIs, all with the.
He's hitting the clutch. So there's a ton. My thing is, look at what we got in return. We got Peralta. He has not done good.
He's been inconsistent.
The return has not been good. And right now we're in such lack of outfield depth. Sure, he's not playing great in San Francisco, but he's come in the clutch on multiple occasions. Look at that series against Texas last week. They were down 4-2. He came up to the plate with the bases loaded. What did he do? He jacked the grand slam. I know I'm sounding hypocritical, but what we got in return has not been worth it.
To me, again, I brought this up last week with the backup infielders or the backup players we had. I wish we just got better backup infielders. Like, we have to balance
better
the line
depth.
out. As A-Rod said on the Sunday – what is this a line? That's foul. As on the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast, the Yankees are hitting into ground ball double plays because there's not enough balance in the lineup. You're not turning the bats over to lefties.
Nope.
And you don't even have – as I said last week, you don't even have any valuable left-handed hitters. The last valuable left-handed hitter that you had was Didi Gregorius.
Yeah.
That's the truth. We have no valuable left-handed hitters.
And that's even looking bad right now, too, because Gleyber struggled ever since he left at short, which I don't understand because when Didi was out in 2019, he was just fine at short. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to assume it's basic fundamentals being lost.
We don't. Wasn't Torres' natural position down in Scranton?
Second base. It was always second.
And okay, it was second. But anyway, when relating to Cashman, he does have that mark where he's handed out bad contracts. He handed out the Jacoby Ellsbury contract, which is albatross.
Yeah, what was a bust.
Aaron Hicks is what? Let me look at the deal they signed Aaron Hicks to.
Evan, I think I'd rather see Judge than Stanton in center just because, A, that's a nice play. Judge, he's played center before. He's got the experience. B, I don't think Stanton's got the speed that Judge has to play center. But that just kind of shows right there our lack of outfield depth when we have Aaron Judge playing center field, when that's not his number one position. That shows the lack of depth. And I know people keep talking about Andujar's growing into his own. Well, we can't keep waiting. We're supposed to be in a friggin' World Series run. And right now we're hovering around 500 a month away from the All-Star game.
It's scary. And Aaron Hicks was, in 2019, he was originally signed out of arbitration, 1 year, $6 million. And the Yankees signed 2 players to extensions that year before the season. Luis Severino, 4 years, $40 million. That's $10 million a year. That's looking
Welcome back, Buffy.
Welcome back, Buffy. That's looking like a bust right now. Aaron Hicks is probably the worst out of that. He's not produced, and he's been injured.
Can't stay healthy.
7 years, $70 million. I don't think he's worth that contract.
Yeah.
The longevity is the worst part of it. It's one thing if you sign a role player, it's like $10 million a year. It's the longevity.
That's new age MLB. That's the problem. How do you explain Trout, Harper, Tatis? Tatis hasn't even played a full season, and he's getting himself a goddamn documentary already. That makes no sense to me.
That's it. You know what? I know Sean's a big guy who doesn't really like the Shohei Ohtani hype, but that's ridiculous to give what's-his-face a documentary already. I mean, come on.
Yeah. He hasn't even played a full 162-game year yet. I'm just saying, long contracts
if he was
always been a bad idea. It's not just the Yankees.
How did Yu Darvish contract work out?
I'm telling you, baseball is not going to be in a good state in about 10 years or so. We think it's bad now. Wait till you have all these old players that cannot perform, and you're stuck with them for another 3 years.
You know why
tail end of Cole contracts, tail end of Harper contracts, whatever.
You know why they're extending?
That's an MLB issue.
Yeah, that's right. You know why they're extending these players? It's because they don't want them to hit free agency. They're afraid to be outbid. But who the hell's going to outbid the Yankees? God forbid they do something like that. Who the hell's going to outbid the Yankees when they have the most money?
I said this.
The only other teams that can really compete are the Dodgers.
Big
and
market.
Maybe the Red Sox right now. They're still recovering after the Betts trade.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I was about to say Rays, but I'm like, that's a low market, even though their salaries like not necessarily high. What I said in the chat, and I was following the stream, and I know you two would probably know, not the chat, but for lack of better words, during prep, I kind of did something that I regretted, which I was paying for during that time, but whatever. I'll get into it if anyone else asks, but we don't have a straightforward backup center fielder. Gardner, yes, that's not a good lefty bat, though. Look at the lefty bats they tried bringing in. Jay Bruce, Mike Ford. That's not how you.
I think they DFA'd Ford, by the way. They DFA'd Ford.
They did.
Yeah, they did, and he's probably going to get optioned, waivers, or he's going to get cut. I mean, they should have done this like way before he actually got sent down and cut. Well, not cut, but DFA'd, because he was literally costing the team at bats after at bats, and I'm one of the first people to call it out. Now everybody's jumping on the Ambergy trade. And one thing, and a lot of people are, Joseph will update you on that probably 9:05, 9:10, depending on where this discussion goes. A lot of people are saying it's got to be buy or sell. Not necessarily. You look at 2013, you look at a couple of years, maybe 2016, no, that's sellers. You look at 2013 when everybody was on the IL and we couldn't do anything. They just packed it in. They just tried and then packed it in. What happened during that stage? We found out, even though the prospects weren't necessarily good, we just started up bringing up minor leaguers. Thomas Neal, Zoilo Almonte, David Adams. That is probably, if the Yankees continue the path they're on, that's probably the path they're on right, or going to be on in a couple of weeks. They'll be bringing up Chris Ginn, Trey Ombrigi. And what's the line after that? You don't have one. Because those are the two guys where I said at the beginning of the year, where I said that they would be the most mistreated because they're not prospects. And you know what? Now everyone's trying to get a hook on Ombrigi, and Chris Gittins is up. Unfortunately, he's not doing anything, and I'll remark on that. But my point is that after Ombrigi and the other guy, Chris Gittins, who hit exclusively well in AAA, what do you got? Greg Allen? Is that your next option? Socrates Brito? You don't have the greatest amount of depth. But once again,
they can't use Dietrich.
No, stop. 160 batting average. Imagine he would hit in the big leagues.
Yeah. It's better than 125. He's getting better.
Somewhat.
Oh, my God.
I'm really looking at this.
Doing better than friggin'.
So I'm really looking at this as a pack it in type thing, because honestly, the Yankees should not trade for somebody at the deadline. And obviously, I'll go into a video about this. They should not trade for anyone at the deadline, my honest opinion, because that's one player. And what are you going to give up? The farm?
Yeah.
Andy Garcia, Mark Schmidt. We actually haven't heard anything from. Who else are you going to give up? Estevan Florial, if he has any trade value? Jason Dominguez, which probably can't even – I don't know if he can even trade him yet. So who are you going to give up?
He's never played a player.
And it has to be a lefty. And I'm sorry, other than maybe Charlie Blackmon, who's 34 years old, by the way, there's not a lot of great options. Especially, Adam Frazier, yes, that's the one option I would go after. He's hitting like 330 with the Pirates right now. But they would want some prospects back. Ivy Garcia would have to be in that trade. Maybe Andujar. Maybe Frazier. Who knows what they like? Because their mentality of a rebuild is one man's trash is another man's treasure. And that's why they have been in the tanker for the last 20 years. But the point is, other than Adam Frazier, I would not trade for anybody at the deadline. And once again, it cannot be one player. It has to be a whole philosophy change. I would not sell either, because
that's what I said.
You can go.
I truly believe that if we get a better manager, we'll be back where we should be. Everybody's talking about, but in 2005 they were 32-32 and they ended up just. We gotta stop living off the past.
Baseball was a different game back then.
You know
Exactly. People need to stop living off the past.
I also saw that this was the worst 65-game start since 2016.
See,
when they were like 1934 or whatever.
What irritates the hell out of me, and I'll get to something regarding the trade deadline because I was about to finish, is that, all the people, and I say this repeatedly, Aaron Boone won 200 games in the last, 203 games in 2 seasons. Okay, what is that doing right now? If you ask Steeler fans about the last couple playoff appearances and the last couple seasons, yeah, they're winning games, but what has that done in terms of a championship?
What good's 11-0 if you're not going to win anything? What good's 11-0 if you're not going to win anything?
And then
I'll bring up the same point I did last week, just to add to Alex's point. Making fun of the Giants for losing the Patriots a couple years ago. To my cousins, they said, "Yeah, but that's regular season. You're a Yankees fan. You should know regular season doesn't matter. You got to, it's the postseason success that matters." But at this rate, we ain't even going to make it. So, I guess it does matter now. Now we have to care.
And Sean brought this
Alex?
up in our it wasn't pre-show prep because we got on and we were talking with each other. Sean, do the players have fire in them?
Absolutely not. No fire. And I was really hoping, and this is going to lead right into my rant because I wanted to talk about this before. I was hoping, and it almost did happen, right before Neris blew the game, you had the Philly fanatic crushing the Yankee helmet, blasting New York in the background, disrespecting our city and our team. I want to rant about that later, but I just want to get to the point. You would think that sort of disrespect, and anybody watched the game saw, anybody that watched Yes broadcast, if you watched a Philly broadcast, they showed it on the Philly broadcast. I don't know if they showed it on the Yankee broadcast or not. They showed on NBC Philly Stanton's reaction. He looked pissed off. You think that lighting a spark? You're like, you know what? I don't like them disrespecting my team or my city. So I need to come out and win this. But no, they showed no fire. They tied the game. What did they do after that? They tired themselves out and they lost. That moment right there, that disrespect should have woke them up, and it didn't. They woke up for one inning, and that was it, and they were done.
I remember yesterday, in the afternoon, seeing Herman was on the mound. Herman throws a pickoff move, uses his pickoff move, throws to LeMahieu. LeMahieu drops the ball. That's not even the worst part. LeMahieu's jogging to get the ball, advances to third. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Do you have any fire inside of you to say?
They got no motivation.
How about Rugen out the door on the bases? If anyone didn't see that,
I heard about that.
He pulled a Gary.
I turned the radio broadcast off when it was 4-0. I turned it off. I was getting sick and tired of it, especially because I was working with a Mets fan.
He pulled a Gary Sanchez. I'm like, I literally started screaming at the TV, "What the fuck are you doing? Do you know how to run the bases?" And you know what? I even said this in my recap. Like I said, a lot of things. He's a fucking infielder. You should know that.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. We're the third best team in New York, and there's one that doesn't even legitimately play here.
It's a temporary.
It's embarrassing. And we got to go to Western New York for the next 3 days against the hottest team in baseball, or at least one of them.
Sorry, your philosophy.
It doesn't matter if the Yankee fans take over or not. Toronto's offense looks so much better. And like I said before, you're playing in a minor league ballpark. It's going to be much harder to hit the baseball, and this team already can't hit. How am I supposed to feel optimistic in the secondary battle in New York?
Luke Voigt,
how am I going to feel optimistic?
An update for y'all. Luke Voigt will be in Somerset this week to start.
I'm going to Scranton Friday. Maybe we'll get lucky and see him play.
But you won't though, because it's the Yankees.
Oh. It's fun to dream. But even if Voit does come back, what's going to change? Voit was struggling when he came back, so Voigt's like out. Even if we were just like if we were trading someone, Voigt's one guy. It's a team sport. You can't. It's not like the NBA where you can rely off of one person to carry your team. It's a team sport. Everyone needs to take part in the game to win. One guy is not going to fix the problem. That's why there's no sense in trading for anyone. Because what's that going to change? Is trading for Starling Marte going to make Garrett Cole better? That's just I'm not saying Garrett Cole's struggling. I'm just putting out an example. Is trading for Adam Frazier going to make Jamison Tyone remember how to pitch? No. So why bother? Is trading for a pitcher going to help the team hit? No. So why bother? Why bother?
It's all
ain't gonna do nothing.
It's all, to me, it's all philosophical. The Yankees are so stubborn. They're using the same approach they did. They're using the same analytics.
They're afraid to change. They're afraid to step away from the analytics.
It's not even it's the type of analytics they use. They're using the same thing and the same approach, the same game plan that they used in 2019, 2020, and 2018.
You have to have a different formula.
The reason they're using the same formula is because we were successful in 2018, 2019. Now it's not the case anymore. Look at 2020. Look at 2021.
It reminds me so much. It reminds me so much of the Steelers from the past couple years. They were running the same 4 plays. That's pretty easy to predict. When you're running the same thing over and over and over again, teams are going to pick up on that. And it's going to be easier to game plan. How do you explain in the Steelers game against the Colts this past year when you got defenders literally calling out plays? They're like, oh, they're running that play. Running the same thing is not helping. You got to try something different. Analytics aren't everything. They're not. Alex Rodriguez said it best after we got swept by the Red Sox. Computers don't win games. That's the bottom line.
They win computer games.
It'll help you win. I don't even know these analytics. I don't even think that would help you in MLB The Show. That's how much of a joke they are.
What and some of the stuff.
Honestly.
So it's Rugen at the door. What the analytic is telling you?
They're relying off of
third.
Somebody tell me. Are they relying off of MLB The Show to get their game plans?
That would be stupid as hell.
Seems like it. Sounds like it's Bryce Petty's school of learning from Madden to get better on the football field.
It sucks. It's because they're not adjusting. They see what's going wrong this season, and they just keep putting out the same guys. You know what? This is a part of my article that I'm going to bring up, Alex, if you want me to do it like now.
Go ahead.
The guys that are struggling, be it Frazier, maybe Sanchez when he struggled, whatever. They're struggling, and they're not being reprimanded for it. Not only that, because they know they're going to get in the lineup the next day. That's the literal truth.
Not wrong.
I'm gonna pull up my
Can't
article.
bench someone because the guy behind them is probably worse.
They know because
There's no
they
depth.
get up. There is no depth.
There's no depth.
You think after that one game against Tampa Bay that Gary Sanchez was going to get something? No. Gary Sanchez is a mental errors machine when he struggles, and what? I don't care what language you speak. Do you think he's gonna think in his head, "Oh, I'm gonna get punished for this"? No, because those type of players who get away with it, they need a manager to keep them in check. If let's be honest, if the Yankees were in the position, let me reverse that. If the Phillies were in the position the Yankees were, and Aaron Boone was the manager of the Phillies, how many times we would have heard Bryce Harper's name from the media? How many times we would have heard that name? I'm not saying he's Trevor Bauer or these other guys or Le'Veon Bell, which we'll actually get to a little later on in the show. How many times you would have think he would have been frustrated over this team or over himself? You don't hear anything.
I don't want to.
They're not a big market, and Girardi has them under his cusp.
I wouldn't say they're a big market. Maybe not to New York or LA or Chicago's extent, but Philly's they're a decent sized market. They're
Right.
2 hours south from New York, so
Right. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, you don't hear his name that often in a bad way. You don't. You know, in Washington, obviously, a lot of people thought he was overrated. They were switching managers year in, year out. Obviously, they won the World Series when he was out of there, which is kind of like a Tiki Barber kind of thing. But once again, that's a whole different topic. But how many times do you hear his name badly? You don't, because even if he is doing badly, he shuts up. He doesn't say anything. And they don't necessarily – they have talent, but they don't. I mean, Gene Segura, well, those players – it really pisses me off to think that a player like Ronald Torreyes works in Philly. And we traded him.
he's not swinging from
We
the
literally traded him, if I'm not mistaken, we literally traded him a couple of days after Boone got hired. Let me go see. Let me check that
No.
out.
We traded him in 2019.
Oh, so that's a definite.
Okay, so it was a year after.
You know what? I'll tell you.
Look how good Torreyes is doing. Torreyes whooped us this weekend.
Right. Hold on, let me look. We DFA'd him and then traded him.
Okay.
Because remember, we changed our approach after 2017 into 2018. I think
Even though we're one game short of a World Series.
Even
Right.
though.
The Yankees organization found no use for Torreyes when they were under Boone because they've shifted to full analytics. We need homers. This guy's not a fit.
But Tyler Wade, right?
Tyler Wade doesn't make sense for this team either. He doesn't.
No, he's not a home run hitter either. He tried to get stronger to do that, and it failed. He hit homers in spring training. Wow, that really helps us go to the World Series.
And people are like, oh, it's not Boone's fault because of analytics and shit.
Okay, then change the philosophy.
Boone's the puppet.
I mean, what was
Boone's
I
the
going to say?
puppet. He refuses to think.
Going back to Michael Kay's thing a couple of weeks ago, he says, oh, the players don't fit the analytics. Well, how many times have you ever heard a coach in the NFL say, well, the player doesn't fit our scheme, so we're not doing good? That's not an excuse.
That's Adam Gase type shit.
That's not an excuse. That's not a good excuse, and that's not even, viable. You make the players best at what they're, doing. Clint Frazier, he's a good defender. He's also a good base runner, so you have, to be aggressive on the bases. You got to do hard. DH, whatever, he's good at defense. Well, you start, hit him power, whatever. Judge and Stan, you do what they do. Rougned Odor, I don't know what he's good at, honestly, because he kind of sucks right now, and we lost that trade. So how about working to the players' benefits and the benefits they do have? Sure, we have Luke Voigt, Corey Kluber, and a couple others on the IL, and a lot of people have underperformed. I understand that. But how about working to the players' benefits? It's not always about the analytics. And once again, this team and maybe other teams in baseball will slowly get entrapped in that, and that's how they'll become bad. And I know this ain't the topic we're talking about, but you guys were referencing it earlier in relations to Hicks and Severino. How many contracts do you see that in the NFL? The one person is Patrick Mahomes. That's it. That's a superstar. So baseball is going to get entrapped in that mentality. And I don't care if Mike Trout, Mike Trout, I think he's going to work out. I don't know if the Angels will ever make the playoffs. We'll see what happens. But Bryce Harper, he may actually expire.
That's the sacrifice you make. You secured Mike Trout. Yeah, but you secured Mike Trout. But what have they done to help him make it to the playoffs? That's the problem with big contracts. Is
you have so little money.
You take away from something else. They got no pitching. With the exception of Ohtani. And that's it.
You know what the worst part of superstars is? They ask for these big ass contracts, whatever. How much you want to pay them? Let's just say you get paid $28 million, and then they expect you to build a right core around them when you're holding them.
Selfish.
That's why you should just rebuild and not do what the Nets did. I'm sorry if there's Nets fans, but I'm just saying. It's why you rebuild. That's not what.
And Juju Smith-Schuster is a perfect example of what a player should be. Juju Smith-Schuster, he could have went to Kansas City. He could have went to Baltimore.
He could have went to
Baltimore. He could have went to the Jets. He could have went anywhere he wanted. He stayed in Pittsburgh, took less money for loyalty. That's what a player should be. And Juju, you could call him TikTok boy, you can call him Corvette, call him whatever the hell you want. He's more loyal than any of your players, and that is something that no other team in any other sport has. Alex, please stop.
Yeah, stop.
I have to ask you to leave.
I'm gonna leave my own show.
Let's not forget, Juju did score 2 touchdowns on you guys. So, well, it was either 2 or 1. I think it was 2.
What did I say about Juju that incorporates you to try to violate my team?
You're mocking him with Corvette.
By the way, if the Yankees lose 2 at the stadium against the Phillies in July, this is relevant, by the way. I don't care. I'll say I am.
Yankees are a joke in New York.
Never have I ever.
Every other team.
If I could say this real quickly.
Yeah,
Never have I ever been so excited for football season other than this year.
Screw it. I missed the Knicks.
Baseball, well, that's because the Jets suck.
No,
Baseball,
I missed the Knicks.
Baseball has always been my number one. Then football came in, and obviously in memory stream with a mark on it, but I didn't like football for amount of years. I have never been so excited to go back to football season than I am now. Not because fans are in the stadium. Not because fans are in the stadium. Well, it's because of that, because I'll be going to one of the games probably. Fans are in the stadium. Giants are actually doing good. But the fact that the Yankees suck so much right now that we have to talk about the same the same garbage.
I'm moving. You guys know in chat. I've said it before. I'm moving to New York in a couple weeks. I don't know if I really even want to watch the Yankees. And you guys know I love going to Yankee Stadium. I love the experience. I love the ballpark. I love the atmosphere. And I love the product on the field. Sure, we watched an embarrassing blowout, but that's beside the point. I have no desire to want to see them this year. I really do not. I don't know about you guys, but there's so many things I want to do in New York. I want to explore different neighborhoods. I want to explore the city. I want to go see minor league games with the Hudson Valley Renegades at Brooklyn. I want to see Giants games, Jets games, Steelers come to New York, whatever. See Knicks games. Hell, I'll even go to Barclays Center to watch the Knicks and the Nets. I don't want to see the Yankees right now. They've given me no excitement to want to see them. If the Staten Island Yankees were still in New York, I'd rather go see that instead. That's my honest opinion. You guys could disagree with me on that. Oh, I get it. This is the first time we're having fans back in the ballpark in 2 years, stuff like that. I have no desire to want to see them. I really don't.
Why do they deserve
Why bother? Why do they? Why? Why should I go watch this pathetic team when I could go to, when I could just instead save my money and do whatever? I got no desire to see this team right now.
And
if the Yankees figure it out, maybe. But that's truly how I look about it.
In anticipation, I'm not going to jinx anything because obviously the two of you know my thoughts, and obviously that's not a topic for this because it's related to politics. But Cuomo is the governor of New York. Is supposed to lift restrictions soon. And let's just say Yankees get back to full capacity. How many sellouts are they going to have with the current team right now?
She ain't selling out nothing. Nobody's going to come to the ballpark. I think more people than see the Mets right now.
I got to ask you guys this. This is comparing two different teams, two of our favorite teams. How come when the Knicks were bad, they could sell out, but when the Yankees are bad, they don't sell out?
It's because the Yankees are spoiled.
Right. You got a point.
They're spoiled. World Series are bought. We have high standards for a reason. It's going to look funny because I'm going to be moving. Like I said, I'm moving to New York next month. I'm more interested in what's going on in NASCAR right now. And I love NASCAR, but the Yankees are every day. NASCAR is one weekend out of my week. And when I move to New York, I'm going to look hella out of place because I don't want to wear my Yankees gear right now either, even though I still do, and I still wear it everywhere I go. It's embarrassing. I'm going to look like a redneck walking around the city, and I can blame the Yankees for it.
Right. And I said this opening day. I tried not to overreact after the loss. I said this is the same damn movie I saw last year in the last couple of years. Swinging for the homer, no situational hitting, no nothing of that. What's changed? And what's the product? What's the product?
I want to make a comparison to that. When we had our Steeler-Giants stream last season, and the Giants lost, Alex said, this looks just like last year, and it looked like nothing changed. But throughout the season, what did we see, Alex? Compared to game one?
And we saw
change.
The Giants actually got better.
The Giants were one
That's because
short of
they had
winning
a coach
the
with
division.
testicles. That's why. They had a coach with testicles.
Thank you. Where has that been with the Yankees this year? They had one good hot run. That was it. The Giants, they looked so much similar to the way they did last year. They played good against a good team, and they still lost. But what did we see? Like I said, what did we see throughout the Giants year? Change. They went out, they beat the Seahawks with a backup quarterback. They competed with the Rams. They competed with whoever. Alex, you know better than I do because you watch them every week. I didn't watch them that much. But they changed. They were one game short of a postseason run. Maybe not a run, but even just an appearance. And the Giants were expected to be dog crap last year.
Sean had us at 3.
And some still think they will be. Yes, I did. And a lot of people did. Well, some people still think that. I don't have them that bad this year, but that's beside the point right now. I'm just trying to say they were willing to change because they got a coach that's willing to have guts. Boone's got no guts. He'll just yes you to death and give you corporate answers. Anyways, we're not going to go into it. That's really how it is. We're never going to, you got to push him to get out. Lucas said it before. Got to push him to get the answers out of him because clearly he's too stubborn enough to say it himself. I'm not asking him for him to be like Tony La Russa, although at this point, I don't know how much of a problem that I really have with that at this point.
And this is perfect timing where I'm going to pull up my article. This is by NJ.com. Would the Yankees be better off with Aaron Boone or Philly's Joe Girardi? A scout breaks it down. So I don't know who the writer of this article is. As I said, brought to you by NJ.com. It's a reporter asking scout questions regarding the subject. So I'm going to share my screen. Some of you will find this interesting, some of you find it not. So, first question is, if you guys can see it, Boone is a good communicator and his players love him. He knows his baseball, but he has a reputation for not being tough on players, which is what the Yankees wanted when they hired him. Plus, his team makes a lot of mistakes running the bases. Would the Yankees be any better with Girardi? Do not look at the answer indicated, and I want you guys to answer this for yourselves. Chat too.
Okay, Alex, pin that on your screen. Would the Yankees be better with Joe Girardi or Aaron Boone? Chat, we want to know. Right, pin that question, Alex, or make a banner.
Yeah.
And we'll give you guys 2 minutes to answer that or discuss. Alex, you answer first.
Give me a second.
When you're done.
I'm still trying. Fast typing. Okay. So let's do that. Evan says Girardi.
He says Girardi. Now keep in mind, guys, the Philly faithful does not like Girardi. Just like Yankee fans did. He gets criticized the exact same way. The only difference was Girardi, and the Yankees were a better team.
Thing is, what do you call it? Girardi had the reason the Yankees would be better. What was I going to say? What's the word I'm looking for? Girardi has more control over what he's doing. This is the Yankees have. That's what he's doing in Philly, but in New York right now, the more control goes to the front office. Just does.
I personally say Girardi because he was able to go off the books or off the computers in this case. He was willing to flip out in the locker room, flipping tables over. I'm just saying stuff. He never actually did this stuff, but he would scream at the team. He'd get in the umpire's face. He had that flyer. He was willing to go off the analytics, away from the analytics. That's a better way of putting it. We have not gotten that with Boone. And with the Yankees being an overall better roster than the Phillies, we're a better team than the Phillies. Let's just put it that way. We are a better overall team than the Phillies. I don't care what happened this past weekend. Girardi in New York. Let me ask you this. Chat, you can answer. You can chime in too. We came one game short of that World Series in 2017. If he stayed, would we have won a title within the last couple years?
I would say yeah.
Honest opinion. I truly believe so.
I think if the year was to not extend his contract, and obviously his contract ended after 2017, I think 2016 was the year.
Yeah.
Not 2017. But 2017, he took him to a new level of overachieving. And what do you get? A fuck you from the Yankees organization.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
2.5 to 3, 4 years ago, we would have given you the same answer because we didn't want Girardi fired or gone. Let's just put it that way.
We always defended him. Look, I'll ask you the same thing. If Girardi never left, would the Yankees have won their 28th and possibly more titles?
If they're starting pitching, listen, you got Stanton, which was another power bat, and I think he would have performed in the playoffs. The starting pitching was good. Absolutely. I would say they would have won the World Series.
I agree.
All right. All right. You were saying, Sean?
No, I'm just saying that's that. We're all in favor of Girardi.
All right. So the scout answers, I agree with all of that, and I love Boone. I think he's a good manager, but when you've got guys like Clinton Frazier and the others who go to the plate with no approach and they keep doing it and they know they're going to be in the lineup the next day, Girardi would have sat those guys or got in somebody's face by now and said, look, dude, you're not giving us competitive at-bats. You're just up there swinging. This needs to change or else you're not going to play.
I have a possible... Someone else recommended this in the video. I think it was the Treyon Berge video from Unhinged Yankees. Patrick suggested this, who's been on the channel before. He suggests, a la Chad Green in 2016, 2017, that we send Clint Frazier down and call up on Berge. What do you guys say to that?
I honestly wouldn't really be opposed to it at this point.
Send down Clint Frazier to call him up?
No, well, because you remember in 2016, 2017, Chad Green got sent down and he came back up and he was a whole new guy. Basically that.
Yeah. Frazier, he'd go off. But in terms of anger, because he hasn't exactly handled the media that well either.
My question is, does he have enough options? I'm sure he does probably. Because he probably does. He's been bouncing back and forth, so. Hey. But next question. How much of this
the security guard, hold up real quick. I'm watching the Met game. The security guard yelled at some kid because he had his feet kicked up on the dugout. Like the very top.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be netting?
Stupid.
Shouldn't there be netting?
Unless it's in front, but like that front part. But he had his feet kicked up like this. And, they told him he had to put his feet down.
The question is, how much of this is on Boone and how much of this is Girardi? How much of this is on Boone and how much of this is Girardi would stand up to Cashman and Boone can't? You guys can have the floor. See, the thing is, I think Girardi would stand up to Cashman, but he would have gotten fired.
Rizzo just crushed it for a home run. Alex, I'll let you go first with this one.
I'm going to say the part with Boone is that his lack of, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's all, oh my God, the analytics and stuff like that, because that's a poor excuse. If you wanted to actually fight for your team and make your team better, you would stand up for your team and tell the general manager, you would tell the general manager, basically, this team ain't right. Stop going by this philosophy.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done that. And coming out of a broadcasting career, a lot of people said, oh, well, Boone would have been a good manager, put away the analytics, and actually put him as a manager. Well, we don't know that. We won't ever know that because they're not going backwards with this. They've had three shots at, so far three shots at, going to the World Series like they were expected to a lot of the years. So far, right now, it's a 3 for 0 for 3, I should say, because 2019, you had your shot and you blew it against the Astros. Part of the reason, and if I'm not mistaken, now I would have to go back to my past self on that, because I remember Luke Voigt was kicked off of the postseason roster for Edwin Encarnacion.
Oh,
Encarnacion was garbage. Does everyone remember that?
I remember that.
He was a walking strikeout.
He was a walking strikeout, yes. And that would
He was an example of one of those power guys they would get. He was an example of one of the power guys they used to get that used to turn out to nothing, just like Chris Carter and there was another one. I don't remember who it was. Stephen Drew.
Yeah, garbage. Anyway, so with that, he has to stand up. And once again, it's also on the front office because they're implementing the analytics, the lack of toughness. And whether we like it or not, and, we comment, oh, my God, Tony La Russa, crapping on his own players. Well, what? They're first place in the division right now. What's that to complain about? We're fourth. I don't care whether you're in a crappy division, you're under 500, or you're in a good division.
Back to Chicago.
I said
Cubs just hit back-to-back dingers.
Good. I said it. Those words were, do not sleep on the Toronto Blue Jays. What are they now?
Oh, yeah, we all said that. Yeah. They're the best team in New York.
Unfortunately,
and they're not even.
So
it's not even their true home. I agree with Alex. Like I said, Girardi just had that firepower that Boone doesn't. Boone, they literally brought him in just to be a yes man, and that nothing more. You do what we say, and you're good. We could all do exactly what he does right now because literally we're, all we'd be told to do is say yes.
Gabe Kapler in San Francisco, probably.
All right. So to answer, Scout says, I think it's Boone can't say anything. Girardi has been a manager for years. He played there, and the Yankees know what kind of person he is. Girardi would probably tell Cash, I got in his face because this is what's going on, and for us to win, I have to do that. The Yankees are predictable at the plate. There are about 6 guys that you can pitch the same way and get out. Part of that is on Boone, but a lot of this is on Cashman.
To add to that, and I actually it just fell out of my head right now. I forgot what I was going to say. It was something relate. Oh, yeah, I remember. How many times have I made the point that Boone should not have had his first managerial job in New York?
Right. They're better candidates.
Better. Experienced candidates. Choosing a first-time manager, it doesn't go. It's like choosing a first-time head coach. Doesn't really.
That's like you play a game for the first time. You don't even know the controls, and you put it on expert. That's literally what it is.
Is the cat in there?
I had to let her in because she annoyed the crap out of me. She couldn't stop meowing.
Unbelievable. Next question.
Suck up.
Ha ha ha. So, next question. Do you blame Brian Cashman for hitters relying too much on analytics?
Blame everybody 33%. Front office, Cashman, Boone. 33%.
That's everyone.
Hold on. Give me a second real quick. Why is it hitters relying on analytics? I'm sorry, but
because the analytics say you have a better chance of winning if you just keep hitting. You hit more homers. That's what the analytics are going to say.
You can break it down further than that. You can break down what he's going to, the probability of swinging at a 1-0 pitch, probability of swinging 3-0.
Yeah.
Like the outcomes and stuff like that. The outcomes and stuff like that. That's what they rely on.
Yeah. They rely on what the computer will tell you. Like if it says, "Oh, if you take a strike on nothing and nothing, you have a less chance of getting a base hit."
Right, that's the idea.
I don't know if that's actually real or not, by the way. I'm just like making examples.
Just match it out.
It's probably right.
The scout says, bingo. George Steinbrenner, God rest his soul, would be saying, to hell with the analytics. Let's play Yankee
Thank
baseball.
you.
George would have fired some of those guys.
Oh, he would friggin' George Steinbrenner would have probably went through like 3 managers at this point, or just kept Girardi as in general.
I honestly, there was somebody, I don't remember who it was. He was either on Twitter or on ESPN that told the Yankee fans to stop talking about this George Steinbrenner stuff. Why?
I've heard that. I think Michael K started that.
Well,
I could be wrong when I say that.
Well, it's wrong because Steinbrenner would actually get up and say something. Meanwhile, his son isn't doing anything. He's just sitting there making his money. Sorry, that's just what it is. If he would have, shown some
he was
fire.
probably one of those guys that probably didn't even want to play the season last year. To be 100% honest.
Next,
and that's the other thing we got to be worried about too. Is the other thing we got to be worried about is that this civil war keeps going on. There's going to be a work stoppage. Calling that now. It's almost bound to happen at this point. So the Yankees don't do something now, they can't win it this year. It's not going to be good because with the relationship between the Players Association and the owners, we're looking at a work stoppage. I'm honestly calling that.
Next question. I asked you guys this earlier. I want to know what the chat thinks. Do you think Boone would be a better manager if he was allowed to manage the way that he prefers?
I don't know.
We don't know the way.
How are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to know?
He has a tough. So hold on. Give me a second here. This scout don't. This. No, never mind. Excuse me. I was being stupid for like 2 seconds.
All right. So the scout answers absolutely. Aaron Boone has a tough side to him. That's one thing I liked him about as a player.
It's a good point, but like I said, that's all we're relying off of. We're relying off of that and his knowledge from broadcasting. Just because you can talk about the game doesn't make you good at it or good at managing it. Yeah. It's very identical, really.
Freaking identical. All right, so the next question is,
how many more questions are there? I don't mean to rush you.
Let me count. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because remember, I don't know how late I can stay, so.
I'll go over the most important questions.
All right.
What do you think of Girardi as a manager?
As a manager, he's old school. Not too old school, though. He's not like Tony La Russa. He knows, A, to defend his players, which I think made CC Sabathia so great. And, he went off the books. There's nothing more to it. Boone is not that. I mean, he'll defend his players, yeah, but you see him ever go off the books? Anytime? Literally anytime ever?
No.
All right, so the answer is I like Girardi because he's firm and stern, and in today's game, that's being taken away from managers because of analytics. Based on his past, I'd say he's one of the best managers. He's a tactician, gets into it, gets the right guys in the right situations late in games.
You know what I always hated, too, was those that hated Girardi always talked about, but he only got us 1 title. He may have only gotten us 1 title, but he's gotten us to the playoffs every year and has gotten us close. Since Boone became manager, what's the closest we got to the World Series? 2 games short against the Astros. Now, obviously, you can make the case for the cheating and all that, but let's look past that for a minute. Let's look past that. They were down 3-1 in that situation when they shouldn't have been.
Right.
They shouldn't have been at that point to begin with. They were a much better team at the time than Houston. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we win the season series against them before the playoffs?
We probably did.
In 2019? I'm almost certain we did. So, aside from 2019, 2018, we didn't even make it out of the division series. We got Boston walk all over us, which again, talk about cheating, but we're going to look past that for this point. And then last year, I truly believe last year delayed the inevitable. The scenario we were in right now, if we had a full season last year, I think we'd be right in the same situation. Because it's basically what we were in a 60-game schedule. Bipolar. Some days they look good. Some days they look like the Pirates.
Right. Next question is, the Phillies had a lot of holes when Girardi took over in 2020. They still do. How do you rate the job Girardi has done? He's done all right. Some of his players have underachieved, and they got to stay healthy. But the Phillies have some pieces. Girardi won more in New York because he had deeper teams and better teams.
That I agree with. I think the Phillies roster is good, but they are definitely underachieving. And I don't know if I can put all that on Girardi. I know some people can question his decision-making. That's always up for debate. Like I said, we none of us follow the Phillies that closely, but I actually do believe that with a better roster, the Phillies would be in a much better situation.
And this might be the most essential question of the entire thing. I'm going to look for more questions. Should Yankees fans be worried if Cashman does not do something drastic for a quick fix?
No, because they couldn't make a trade to begin with. We mentioned this already.
Quick fix though. It's got to be philosophical.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be bothered if they didn't trade for somebody at the deadline because one player won't fix it. The whole fan base will go up in flames. But hey,
and everybody wants the trades, but as we've said multiple times, we don't go off the popular opinion. Everybody wants a trade for whoever. We don't want to trade because what's it going to solve? What will it solve? I mean, we need the only trade that we need is outfield depth.
I'm going to say
Adam Frazier, he's a good one. Everybody wants Starlin Marte because he is playing really well, but he's a righty. We need lefties, as Lucas said earlier.
The reason why I like Frazier better is obviously he's a consistent hitter. But let's look past that for a second. First base and second base, you still got holes there. Ruben Odor sucks. Left field, you're still inconsistent with because Andujar, he still has some questions. In left field, I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not a left fielder. Come on. I mean, he's good. He's hitting good, but once again,
he's getting better. Problems. Which I still don't understand why you don't put Stanton in left and you put Andujar at DH. You don't lose Andujar's bat, and Stanton's more experienced in the outfield. I know he was a natural right fielder when he came over, but he can still play left.
Doesn't make any sense, my personal opinion.
Next, well, the answer to that is yes, I would be worried. They're not scoring runs. They still cannot stay healthy, and they make too many mistakes. They've got Giancarlo Stanton making that kind of money, and he's not on the field every day. He has 12 home runs, but he doesn't hit doubles or triples because he's so fragile that he cannot run when the ball is hit to the alley. That's a problem that's not going away. You cannot blame that on Boone. Reactions?
I disagree. We both disagree, but
yeah,
we pretty much already stated why.
For the questions,
to me, I'm gonna look for more questions. I'll stop the screen sharing for now. But one thing the Yankees also have to do: stop with the unconventional rest days.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. I get it. Players can't play every day like they used to. But they don't need as many as they're getting. Trust me. I get it. It's not old school where everybody plays every single day. I think that's clinically insane, but that's just how people were back then. You can't hate it, but this is too much.
The next question is: does Aaron Boone deserve any blame for the Yankee hitting woes?
Yes.
That's an easy question. That's an easy question.
He's going to get blamed, but I'm sure analytics has a big role in this.
Oh my God.
That's the introduction. For instance, Brian Cashman calls up Chris Gittens last week to play first base. I was happy for Gittens because he earned a first call-up and everybody loves the guy. But there's no way in hell this guy should be in the big leagues right now. If George was alive, he would have ordered Brian Cashman to trade for a first baseman. Same thing for center field. Aaron Hicks is done for the year. And
Yeah, but we don't need a first baseman. Because Voigt's just injured. He will be back. It's not like Voigt's done for.
And what
That's a
people
dumb
don't realize, what people don't realize is that if we trade for an outfielder, we trade for a left fielder, we trade for a first baseman, what's going to happen is they're going to roll over into next year. This ain't football where it's a one-year deal.
Yeah. I mean, there are occasional rentals,
right,
but it doesn't happen very often anymore.
And to continue, same thing in center field, blah, 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 blah. At least they know Florial is not ready. And watching Florial, he might never end up anything special.
It's too soon to say.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Can't
there.
say that now.
But again, if George was still in charge, he'd be telling Cashman, "Go get me a center fielder."
Any more?
My
questions?
thing is, are you going to trade everything away? Are you going to trade for players until you have nothing left?
Are you going to trade? And then people were talking about selling. Yeah, we're going to get rid of Garrett Cole and Giancarlo Stanton, right?
Yeah, that's stupid. You know,
No,
I don't care how
exactly.
bad Stanton plays in the regular season. Have you guys seen what he's done in the postseason? And I'm not even talking just last year. In past years. And he doesn't even have that much playoff experience. But when he plays, when it matters, he shows up. I don't care if Stanton's batting 0-13 right now. I want him on my postseason roster. That's it. I don't care. I really don't. He
And this
proved it
was-
last year.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
All right. So this question might irritate you guys. So you spare Boone blame because he's a victim of roster
No.
decisions he has control over. He's no control
Not
over.
moving on. Moving on.
The
Next.
scout says exactly. For instance, you cannot blame Boone for having to start Divey Garcia for a couple of times. The Yankees have talked Garcia up a ton, and I used to like him, but not so much anymore. He's out there throwing 91, 92 and pitching off a slider. I'm thinking, Garcia has a good curveball. Use it.
Yeah, but you
I'm
have
gonna
to get
search
the
for more
players to the best
Boone-
of your ability.
Boone pretty much, I think, ruined Garcia's confidence after last year. That's why I don't think we've seen the same DB Garcia we saw. You know, he's pitching good down in Scranton. I think he's actually pitching tomorrow. But he's got no confidence anymore. You ruined it after game 2 last year. So
I've got about
just,
3 more.
and if there's anything, let's make it quick because I got a couple. We still got other stuff to get to.
All right.
Those questions.
Yeah,
Let's get those
studio.
out of the way because we still got. I'm staying no later till 11, so I'm on a time limit. I want to get to as much thing as
I'll
possible.
hurry up with these 3 questions. The Yankees running themselves in so many outs does not reflect.
Can you get that cat out of there, please?
Yeah,
How's your day, Sean?
It's aside from the Yankees, it's great. I get to go to New York on Wednesday, but
Yeah, wake up at 6 tomorrow.
yeah, I can't wait.
Or get in at 6.
Right. Well, I got to be in at 6. I got to be up at 4:30, so 11 o'clock is going to be my limit. So once we wrap this up, I want to get into real quick one thing before we get into Le'Veon Bell and the playoffs
all right.
for the NBA. Which, by the way, I haven't checked. What's Notre Dame doing? I've been watching the Met
They're
game.
losing 5-11. It's like mid-innings. The Yankees running themselves in so many outs does not reflect well on Boone. But how far can he go to punish the offenders? Girardi publicly criticized Sanchez's catching in 2017. That's part of the reason he was fired. Scout says the base running was go ahead.
Which is dumb if you think about it, because there's nothing wrong with criticizing a player in the media, in my personal opinion. It's completely different from what Tony La Russa did. La Russa openly went against this player and took the side of a rival or an umpire. Criticizing someone is a much different story. If you're saying, oh, he needs to do better, That's different than saying, "Oh, well, I defend the Twins for throwing at my guy." And I think a lot of people seem to fail to realize that. And it works because Sanchez went off afterwards. Steelers, you could say the same thing. Big Ben criticized James Washington in the game that we lost to the Broncos back in 2018. What happened? Washington went off. So that's just an example. You know, you can criticize a player, but you shouldn't be, like, oh, this guy, I'm going to defend the other team because, I don't like what he did. It's two different stories. And I think a lot of people seem to forget that.
And the guy says the base running mistakes is absolutely on the coaching staff. But if you start benching guys, somebody in the front office is going to approach you and say, this guy needs to play. That's to start off. That's the stuff you hear when you talk to people with the Yankees. But if Frazier or Sanchez is running into out and stupid stuff, neither is a good base runner and instinctive player. Why is he in the lineup the next day? Girardi would probably bench him for a couple of days. Can Boone do that? Sanchez should be playing once a week because he's still being so bad at the plate. Maybe not so much now that he's hitting. Higashioka is a lot better, but Sanchez still plays most of the games. Why? It's probably because that's what Cashman and his analytics people want.
That's probably too, because Higashioka hasn't exactly been great at the plate either. He's been struggling at the plate. That might be more than just analytics.
And this is the final question I'm going to answer because we already went over the
Look,
subject.
I would say if there's any questions you didn't get to, leave the link in the chat so other people could take a look. Because obviously we're working on a time limit. So after this question, if you want, I would say leave the link in the chat for other people to read later. My suggestion.
Right. That sounds like a good idea. I'll probably do it. This has to deal with the pitching. How much of this do you think is a result of the Yankees bringing Matt Blake as a head coach? Pitching coach last season. He's a huge analytics guy and changed.
I don't blame him at all.
Pitchers do things, and not just major leaguers.
Yeah, but the pitching's been phenomenal. Obviously, the last couple of days it's been a struggle. But are we going to forget about how well the pitching was prior, aside from Taillon? Pitching's been great. Like I said, obviously the last couple of days, not so much, but that's also a result of the hitting not being there. You're pitching, you're going to have your ups and downs throughout the year, but you need both sides to do well, and it's been a one or the other type situation all year. To close this out, I just want to quickly send a little message to
Alex, I was going to give the scout answer. The scout says you have to put blame on Blake, but then you have to put blame on Cashman as well. He's the one who hired Blake. He's the one who committed to these changes. Let me tell you, I'm seeing the Yankees farm system this year for the first time since 2019. And it isn't as good as people think. Some of the pitchers that I liked 2 years ago aren't any better. Why? They're not teaching them how to pitch.
Well,
I don't know how to answer that one.
Well, I guess it's not about mechanics, it's more about the numbers.
That's okay. All right, that kind of makes sense. Real quickly, I think you guys will back me up on this. I brought it up before. I want to send a quick message to the city of Philadelphia after what they pulled on Saturday, disrespecting our city, even though I don't live there, but I still take pride in them, and that's because that's where I'm going to be living, and that's where my family's from. Not only did you disrespect our team, but disrespecting the team is one thing, because the Yankees right now downright deserve it. Make fun of them, do what you want. We deserve it. But to go out and disrespect New York like that by playing New York, why? What? Can you just not accept the fact that our city is better than yours? I've been down to Philly, and aside from downtown and Little Italy, city's a joke. You got a problem with that? Come at me right now. Your city's a dump. So don't come after our city, disrespect our city, because we are the #1 city in the world in terms of tourism and all that other crap. So, Philly, you better watch yourself, all right? Because We don't we never disrespect you guys like that. You know, you won't see the Yankees fans. You won't see the Yankees stadium workers. You won't see Giant stadium workers. Whatever, trashing Philly like that. The fanatic, his shtick is getting old. It really is. You know, like I said, you could poke at New York all you want, the Yankees all you want, but you don't disrespect our city like that. I get the rivalry and all; it's all fun and games, but we don't deserve that. Because in reality, if this country didn't have New York, this country wouldn't be where it is.
Updating
my personal opinion.
Updating the Irish.
Let me just finish this.
All right.
You can't. If you can't accept the fact that our city is better than yours, suck it up. Seriously. I'm sick and tired of it. I've been living amongst it my whole life. I'm tired of all of you. I really am. And I know they're not all bad because I'm friends with one. And even he said they're not, it's embarrassing. You know, like I said, talk all the trash you want. You don't disrespect our city like that. There will be repercussions for that. And I hope when you guys come to the Bronx, we do the same thing to you. Accept it. Y'all lost in 09. Deal with it. Giants beat you guys last year. Deal with it. Knicks are on the rise. They got better future than the Sixers. Deal with it. Mets are better than the Phillies right now. Deal with it. Nets are better than the Sixers. Deal with it. Our city's better than yours. New York, better than Philly. How do you explain letting your own ballpark getting taken over by Yankee fans? Tired of it. I really am. I'm tired of it. Philly, you got a problem? Come to New York and say it to our face. We'll have all 5 boroughs kick your ass.
I bet Sean would.
That's a message from me.
I bet Sean would really want to go.
Updating the Irish game, it's now a 4-run game with the top of the 7th just ending. It's not over yet.
I bet Sean would really want to go to that Giant Philly game in November.
And I'm a Steelers fan. I'll take the Giants side any day. I really am. Philly, they'll talk all the trash behind our back, but if they ever came to New York, they curl up. They get scared. Oh my God, it's a New Yorker. Oh my God. Oh my God. They know how to fix a bell in their city. Wow. Hell out of here with that crap. City's a dump.
So we had that.
I said that, and I live up here. You guys got a problem with it? Come to me right now, and we'll talk about this face to face. I ain't afraid of any.
You're gonna give him your address. This will be funny. So we had that. Just to make sure of something, I know we're going to talk about this Le'Veon Bell thing, but this guy's a football fan. Just saying, guest in the studio. I'm not going to mention any names. Guest in the studio. If you're listening, okay, that's what I wanted to do. Sean, your boy is in the studio. Who do you think it is?
Oh, I know who it is. I know who it is.
Your boy's in the studio. What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Let's go. What's up?
How you doing? Just wanted to talk. That's it.
What are the thoughts on your mind, Joseph?
I'm good, but what did you say, Buffy?
What are the thoughts on your mind? I also like your jersey, by the way. I'm a very big Eli fan.
Oh, thank you.
I respect that.
Yeah. My thoughts on Sean's comments about Philly, spot on. Spot on.
See, we all live where these guys used to live. We're not too far from me. We're about an hour and a half from Philly, and we've been living with it our whole lives. So, obviously they live in New York now, so they don't see it as much as I do. But I live with it, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I bet it's not too fun. I'll be honest. But yeah.
So what's your thoughts on the Giants this season? Throw some stuff at us off season, whatever.
Off season, we did great. I think the off season was an A-. To be honest with you, I can't give an A+ because there's no such thing as a perfect off season because you never know what's gonna happen. But we did have a spot on off season. The trade back was awesome. I love getting a first round pick for next year, and we got Kadarius Toney. I know it was a little early. People would say it was a reach, but teams like the Jaguars, I think there was another team too that wanted Toney. It was just smart for us to get him. And we got Azeez at 50. I wanted Aziz at 20, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. And then we got Kenny Galladay, probably one of the best receivers in the draft, if not the best, probably. Or not in the draft, sorry, what am I saying? In free agency.
Free agency. You're all good.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy about this offseason.
Now, I know you like Sean very much, but do you think the Giants have a bit? Now, I don't know if you do record predictions or whatever. Obviously, Joseph actually has his own channel. Do you think they will be better than the Steelers and the Jets? I think they will be.
The Steelers,
Better than
yeah,
the Jets,
probably.
maybe.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Think so?
Sean. What do you mean maybe? What do you mean maybe?
Better than the Jets is a definite.
Better than the Jets. That's what I'm saying. They'll definitely be better than the Jets. Better than the Steelers. That's a wait and see. That's all I'm gonna say. It all depends. I'll ask you this, Joseph. How do you think with Daniel Jones? Obviously, has no more excuses.
Yeah,
Do you think this is Jones's year, or do you think this is his fine? You know, well, obviously his last chance. But you think Jones will be good this year?
I think he will. He actually has pieces around him in college. He didn't have pieces. Duke football. No one goes to Duke football. And
Yeah,
same with the
basketball.
Giants. I mean, his first year and his rookie year, he didn't really have anyone. I know Darius Slayton popped off, but he didn't do that in his second year. And in the second year, Saquon was out. And yeah, so this is really it. He has the receivers. The offensive line's a little shaky, but I believe in Judge for believing in the offensive line. But I think he should do good, and I think he will do good.
Now I forgot the point I was going to bring up. Now, that's right, Sean. I know you said earlier you wanted to comment on this Le'Veon Bell thing. You want to take that?
Oh, well, I'll put it this way: Le'Veon Bell leaving Pittsburgh was the biggest mistake he's ever made. He's talking all that trash on social media. He's got a horrible rap career. He took less money to go to the Jets, which is honestly embarrassing, and you saw how that turned out.
Right.
I knew from the second he left Pittsburgh, he'd never be the same. And Steeler Nation was proven right. So, it's Bell never learn. He'll never admit it. He's like post on Twitter, but he'll never admit it. Leaving Pittsburgh, biggest mistake of his life, and I think now he knows that. But again, he'll never admit to it. He's not as big of a clown as Antonio Brown, but he's definitely a clown.
What was I going to say with that? And Luca and Sean were fighting me. This is a true story, by the way, Joseph, and all the viewers
really?
out there. This is a true story. I said before last year that Le'Veon was washed, and these two were yelling at me saying he wasn't washed. Meanwhile, who was the one that was right?
Right. I knew he wasn't going to be good. But I refuse to say washed because what is he, still in his 30s, 20s? I don't know how old he is.
He's going to be like 27.
Luke, if you mind doing that research. But he's washed. He's washed.
Now he's washed.
Now he's washed.
He's 29.
Thank the Jets for that.
No, freaking Frank Gore can do more.
Honestly, Sean, that Gase and taking a year off.
Yeah.
Taking
the NFL. Okay, I'll ask all three of you about this because I was starting to think about this earlier. Talking about Stephon Gilmore was supposed to be sitting out of Blue Jays lost 2-1, by the way. They were talking about Stephon Gilmore. He's not reporting to minicamp because he wants a new deal. Do you think that the NFL should do something about that? Like if you purposely hold out, there should be a harsher penalty. Because I don't think it's right for a player to not show up. That's like if you didn't bother to show up to your shift at a supermarket or something. If I did that, I'd be out the door, or I'd be suspended. All right. A, should something be done about this? A, and B, what kind of penalties do you think the NFL should dish out?
So his contract's over? Or is it still?
He wants a new one.
A higher contract, at least from my understanding. I'll let Joseph go first with this one. Then I'll have Luca. Then I'll have myself.
So, I think it's not the right thing to do if his if he's still getting paid by the New England Patriots, he should be in the building. if it's mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
And the penalty should be. I really don't know what the penalty would be. I guess a fine, because you know how good that was. But I'm really thinking it fine. I don't think anything too serious. But it's just not the right thing to do if you're still getting paid.
Luga?
To me, what should be yes, he should be showing up to minicamp, especially mandatory minicamp. It's not voluntary.
Especially just training camp in general,
Training
too.
camp too. Training camp, I agree with you 100%. If he gets to a really bad point, first of all, fines are not working. That's as clear as day. Jamal Adams held out, Le'Veon Bell held out, whoever. Bring up any players held out. If it gets to a point where where it gets really bad, start handing out suspensions.
Real quickly, Mississippi State just announced that their 3-game series in total held 40,000 people, which is a new NCAA record.
Nice.
So, big turnout down in Mississippi for the Notre Dame series.
Nice.
Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, it also deals with the fact, kind of in the same junction as, you know, oh my God, I want to be traded to LA. I want to be traded to this place. It's players have the leeway, and they will have the leeway, and the stars will talk about it. You know, Patrick Mahomes, the world, the Stephon Gilmore's, the world. It's man, you know what? I understand that a lot of people feel pressure to go into the mini camps that are not mandatory, that are voluntary, the OTAs and that stuff. I understand, and you know, obviously it is their decision, unless like something happens or with the team, whatever. Aaron Rodgers, allow Deshaun Watson, whatever. But if it's mandatory, you should be fined. You should be fined. If I don't honestly, I haven't thought about the penalty that there should be. You should definitely be fined to an increasing amount. It's hard to think about because it just came off the top of my mind, but there should be harsher punishments because it seems like the players are going to get away with murder, and then they get more money, and then what happens is the team runs out of, you know, resources to get better players, and you know, it kind of comes full circle.
All right, though. Most thing I could say, obviously dealing with it once before with Le'Veon Bell, and obviously Luka with Jamal Adams. I agree with Luka. I feel like fines just aren't enough. It just feels like the fines are just pocket change at this point because it seems that they're terrible at fining, especially the NFL. As far as penalties go, you can't suspend him because you're literally just giving him what he's asking for. The NFL, that's the problem. Like the NFL is like so bad at friggin' trying to penalize people. I don't know. Maybe you restrict them on what they ask for, and then their next deal. Huh?
It's a hard thought.
It is a hard thought because, like I said, the NFL is like they're bad when it comes to disciplining people. Not as bad as MLB, but pretty bad. But there needs to be some sort of penalty. What that is, we'll have to come up with, off camera. But it's something's got to be done. I don't know what, but something needs to be done because it's not only is it bad for a team, it's bad for a locker room, and because you lose a culture. You lose a culture. It creates fights between players, as we saw with Le'Veon Bell. As offensive line was calling him out. Now you got this thing with the Chiefs where you got Tyrann Mathieu going after him. Something's got to be done.
He's a free agent, but that as Luca, what'd you say earlier that didn't make sense?
Le'Veon Bell said earlier this morning.
Oh yeah,
he specifically.
I know what he's talking about.
I'm sorry for what I publicly said about Andy Reid, but I don't regret it.
So you're sorry, but you're not sorry. Okay, thanks. That's basically what he said.
Literally, you didn't have to waste your breath for that.
No, he's better off just keeping his mouth shut, which he obviously cannot do.
Yeah. What was I going to say? On a separate topic, I guess related to the Giants, if you will, but it's not really. Jarvis Landry thinks OBJ's going to have a big year. Anyone agree or no?
I mean, he could, but I'm not saying he won't. But I really don't think he will. To be honest with you.
I mean,
He brings he brings every team he plays for down. Maybe if I had to come up with something, because if you guys remember when we were talking about our schedule predictions, when Chisel Adonis made his video for the Steelers, because he's a Steelers fan, for those who don't know, when he made his Steelers predictions, he said he's not worried about the Browns. If there was a reason to use that point, that might be the main reason. OBJ, it's like a curse. Ask the Giants. They had him, and they didn't really seem to go anywhere with him. Cleveland last year, they were terrible. Not terrible. They weren't as good as they were until he was gone. I thought when OBJ went down, the Browns would fall apart because they had a very similar roster to 2018,
19.
I believe it was. 19. And I didn't think they'd be anywhere near where they would last year. So maybe the OBJ curse seems to be a problem.
OBJ is like one of those players. This goes around many leagues, NBA, NFL, MLB, where he puts up positive stats, but it doesn't have an impact on the field.
Yeah, not at all.
It's like I said, it's like a curse. It's like a curse. The OBJ curse.
It's like Jacob deGrom with the Mets, except for the fact that the Mets are good now and that he's not a locker room curse.
And we can't make those jokes anymore, which really sucks.
Yeah, I mean we'll have to come up with our own jokes related to the Yankees.
Yeah, because the Yankees are a joke in itself. They're their own punt. They can make their own punchlines for themselves.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, my cousin's got like a whole collection of them things. That's cool.
Yeah, same. I have a whole
True
collection.
story, Joseph. True story, Joseph. When he was still in the minors, he was actually 2 rows in front of me because I was down in row 2. Signing autographs. I did not bring a pen or baseball with me. I was so mad after that night. I was so mad because I didn't think we'd get that close. But yeah, Aaron Judge. I saw a lot of those Yankees before they were in the big leagues because the minor league team is not too far from here. So that did happen. I got an autograph the next game by a guy who eventually retired. So,
well, he's actually the Phillies' first base coach now.
Cole Figueroa.
Yeah.
He's their first base coach. That's like
a bunch more pops. I'll show you. I'll just show one of them. I have a bunch of them in my other room, but here's another.
What's really sad? Let me see this.
Saquon
Barkley. Okay.
Yeah.
What's really sad is I have a DD Gregorius bobblehead.
What's up, PD?
Let's see. Hoping and
my favorite old Yankee jersey.
Charlie comes back soon. That game had me really upset. 2-2 in the series now. It's going to be really interesting. I know Luka's definitely going to get into the NBA, but
that's a good close one.
Going back,
I will say my favorite former Yankee jersey, which I ended up getting, I donated, was an Ichiro jersey. I loved Ichiro. He was my favorite non-Yankee, and when he came to the Yankees, I was so happy. I had that jersey. I just donated it recently for when I move.
I forget what I was going to say. Unfortunately, I mean, still, I have a DD Gregorius bobblehead, and I'm like, oh. And I honestly have not cleaned it in a while, so it kind of shows that, he hasn't been there for
dusty
long. Unfortunately, I wonder how he's doing over there. Real quickly, Joseph, any final thoughts on anything?
It's pretty much it for me, really.
Well, Joseph, it's a pleasure having you on. I hope you do not send a PayPal to.
I appreciate the support, bro.
I appreciate
the support, bro.
Give me your number. I got you. I'm messing around.
I appreciate it, bro. I really do. I appreciate it.
See you later, guys.
Have a good night.
All right, let me go ahead.
He's cool.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys real quick before we get into NBA, since we're discussing football. What did you guys think of this little Madden teaser that they left out today, where they had 2 goats and first off, I think we should have a stream dedicated to.
I honestly,
I can imagine.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Sean. I love what Ryan Moody said about it. He goes, "Why did they go to a farm when they should have went to a landfill?" I was dead when I heard that. I'm like, oh my god,
guys! If you haven't, check out Ryan. Ryan Moody's channel. He does such great breakdowns on why Madden's such a horrible game. We none of us like Madden. Actually, I think we should have a whole stream dedicated to everything wrong with Madden. And even though we still play it, we hate it, but we play it, for whatever reason.
It's kind of.
But no, two goats. If they got two goats, something's telling me that it's going to be Brady and Mahomes, which kind of just reunites the stereotype of it's the same game every year. Oh, let's put two guys that we had on the cover a couple years ago.
I mean, what would you say it was a $60 roster update?
It's also an NFL stereotype as a league in general. Like they're the two most hyped quarterbacks in the NFL.
They're
the most advertised on social media.
If both look, and now I'm not hoping for this, but if both quarterbacks fall, like Sean said a couple hours ago, that would open up for a lot of people who are underrated to move. Like if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, he might be off of that list. Has he ever been on the Madden?
No. Could you imagine that they put him on the Madden cover and he gets?
That might be something.
Could you imagine that he gets on the cover and he gets traded?
Real quickly, what'd be fucked up? And you guys are gonna hate me for this. Put him and Deshaun Watson on the cover of Madden 22.
I saw a meme that said, "Imagine if they put it was Big Ben and Deshaun Watson."
Yeah,
I saw a meme like that earlier.
Let me look at the people who've been put on Madden.
Oh God, let's not go through that laundry list.
Let's relive the Madden curse. We had Antonio Brown, who never truly recovered.
Nope.
OBJ got hurt the year after. OBJ's was delayed. I remember that. His didn't hit right away.
No, yeah, his didn't hit right away.
Patrick Mahomes, he got hurt a couple. I mean, people say he defied the Madden curse. I wouldn't say so because he still got hurt. Remember, he missed a couple games that year.
Aaron Rodgers never was on the cover.
Yeah. So if they're gonna put two goats, obviously you can't put Mahomes. It's probably gonna be, and it doesn't make sense because he's played 3 years in the league. 3 or 4. I think it's 3 or 4.
He was already on the cover of a game, though.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be stupid to, but All right. How about we do this? Who's most deserving to be on the Madden cover? Alex, you first.
Well, I'm going to go with a few candidates. I don't have a number one. I think Saquon Barkley honestly should have been on the Madden cover. This year, obviously, it's a comeback year kind of thing, so I don't know necessarily that I would anticipate it, plus it's the Madden curse.
So, if he has a big year, maybe next year.
Maybe.
If he has a big year this year.
C-Mac should be.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, maybe. I don't think he's as impactful, though. Derrick Henry might be one of them. Lamar was already on one, I think, right? Lamar was on one
this year. Lamar's on this year.
And
then I'll ask you this: who from your team that played last year, not getting injured, so that excludes Saquon, from the Giants should be on the cover?
Leonard Williams.
I said ask Luca that, but I think I already know his answer. Luca, who from the Jets? I think I know your answer. Yeah.
For me, in the league in general, I think Aaron Rodgers deserves it. That's the league in general.
Yeah.
For the Jets, I would probably say Quentin Williams or Marcus Smith.
Now, Luca, if you had to pick a player from the Giants, who would that be?
Probably Saquon. That seems the most obvious.
I know you guys are going to really love to answer this one. How about from Pittsburgh?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, I like that. I like TJ Watt.
Juju was already on one. No, he wasn't. Never mind.
They use him as a sub photo for, loading screens. I always say, if not TJ Watt, please don't put Roethlisberger on. The man's already fragile. Hard to pick anybody else other than TJ. I mean, Claypool maybe, but he's still got more to prove. He's not ready yet.
Other people across the league.
Yeah, other people across the league. Watson in a Giants uniform, because we all know that needs to happen.
Oh God. Dak, if he ever gets good. again.
Dak, if he ever comes back, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he wasn't put on the cover after his debut year, because he lit up the league that year. Him and Zeke. I'm surprised he didn't make it to the cover right away.
Wasn't it Gronk or Brady?
After 2016, it was Brady. Gronk was on Madden 15. Brady was on. No, hold on.
No, Madden 16, which was Madden 15, was
16 was OBJ. 2017 was Gronk, and 18 it was Brady. That's what it was. And then 19 was Mahomes and no, who was 19? Antonio Brown. Then it was Mahomes. Then it was Lamar Jackson.
Okay, so nobody from the Raiders. That's not even a question.
The Raiders.
Rodgers, Watson, if he ever gets another job. Barkley,
Watson,
Dalvin Cook.
And that's the game. Notre Dame just lost. They had a chance. They had 2 on and nobody out, and they hit into a double play.
The West. I'm trying
after his strikeout. So
maybe Matt.
I will say this:
Matt Stafford, if he ever gets good.
We'll see after this year. Notre Dame. I want to say this: they had a hell of a year this year. It's weird because I don't know whether or not to take my Notre Dame stuff with me in New York, considering I'm going to college of Staten Island. I don't really know how to feel about that, but regardless, congrats to Notre Dame on a hell of a year because they did it. They nobody ever expected them to be good at baseball because they're known for football.
Yeah.
So congrats to Notre Dame on a hell of a year.
Luca, or we could actually do one of my topics right now.
What happened, Buffy?
See, my audio disconnected for like 2 seconds. When I moved the thing, this thing kind of unplugged. So I'm like,
so you should change your name from the GOAT back to Buffy because you're not the GOAT.
No.
You don't even run the show.
I am the GOAT.
You don't even run the show.
Yes, I do. Anyway, screw what Sean said. He's talking to his rear.
I think Joseph would disagree.
I do want to talk about something real quick before we get to Luca's topic. Obviously, we got time for that. Favorite NFL commentators, and I have all of them on this list right here. Hold on, let me share my screen.
That's easy for me. That's Ian Eagle. And used to be Phil Simms.
Quickly, I just want to I'll pull up the list real quick. I know this is taking more than anticipated, but you know what? For the sake of it, sure. Okay. So obviously you got Primetime, Al Michaels, Collinsworth, NBC. Fox.
How about we break it down like this?
Sure.
How about we break it down like this? We go from network to network.
I already have it in those categories, so if you want.
Oh, you already have it like that? Okay.
Okay. So, let's do Fox first.
First off, I'll ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this. What is your favorite of all of them? Well, that's easy for me. It's still CBS. Alex, since your NFC's Fox, would you rather have Fox or would you rather stay on Fox or go to CBS?
I'd rather have CBS, to be honest with you. Fox is
I like that.
So many of I'll take Kenny Albert once in a while. I'll take Chris Myers, Dick Stockton, but I cannot stand Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth. I'll take Kevin Burkhardt, but he's on baseball too. So
I like Burkhardt.
Yeah,
I like him.
But no, I'll take CBS. So let's talk about Fox.
Luca, how about you? Would you rather the Jets stay on CBS or move to Fox?
CBS.
Because we share a lot of the same broadcasters. I know our teams do. You guys,
you're in the
we
AFC,
get a lot of.
Fox. Here's how I would do it. I honestly think one broadcaster that's underrated. I think in college football, MLB, and NFL, I think Joe Davis is underrated. I honestly like Joe Davis.
I did too. If I had to pick my favorite from Fox, that's easy. Kevin Burkhardt. He's only ever had one Steeler game too. And that was a game against Washington last year. I know a lot of Steeler fans wanted him, and they finally got a game with him. Unfortunately, we choked, but that's beside the point. I like Kevin Burkhardt. I wish we got more games. He actually did Burkhardt. Didn't he do XFL games for the New York Guardians?
Yes.
I remember that, yes. I like Burkhardt.
If he did some too.
I like him too.
Is it me? And I'm probably not the first one that feels about this. Does Brandon Gaudin sound different on a broadcast than he does on Madden?
Well, it's because on Madden he said the same 10 things every game.
Right.
You're right about that one. So
Same thing with Davis.
In terms of my top crews, in terms of Fox, I'd probably go with. Honestly, I think Kevin Kugler is kind of underrated. They just brought him in probably this year. I'll take Burkhardt. I'll take Kenny Albert. Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth. Like, Amin's not bad, but Mark Schlereth is so biased against the Giants. So much that he got into Twitter fights, even with me, which shows that, like, you have anything better to do with your time, bud. I mean,
I remember that. Let me ask you this, Alex.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. You've obviously you've had Joe Buck games before. Like, yes, sir. You've obviously had Joe Buck before. Even the Steelers. I don't remember. Luca, you might know. When was the last time the Jets had a Joe Buck game? That wasn't, aside from Thursday Night Football.
I can't really remember. I really can't.
I don't know if they've ever had one aside from Thursday night, to be honest. But when Joe Buck, and this is my personal opinion, everybody hates Joe Buck. I personally don't like him. But when he has a good broadcast, I think people kind of underrate him. Because when he does a good broadcast, it's good. Like, when he gets excited, I like watching Joe Buck. Like, when the Steelers and Cowboys played, he had a great broadcast. Both times. When he did the Seahawks-Packers NFC Championship game, that was a good broadcast. But then he's had his bad ones, too. So, do you think Joe Buck, if he stayed excited during his games, he would be more liked? Or would that be would you like him more?
For me, he's probably I categorize him as tolerable. I wouldn't like if it's a good broadcast. If it's a good game, I'll have him.
Use the TV like what he does with the Giants.
Yeah,
but if it's a good game, I'll have him. I'll watch the game. Well, I'll obviously watch the game.
You'll tolerate it. You'll tolerate it. You don't mind it, Alex. Since you've obviously had more Joe Buck games than RTT, I don't know. When was the last Joe Buck game you had that wasn't Thursday night? Probably a Cowboys game, right?
Week 17 against the Cowboys for 1 o'clock.
That's right. It's usually Cowboys when Joe Buck does your games. But no, do you agree with us, or do you have a rebuttal?
I would agree. To finish off my rankings for Fox, I mean, obviously you guys are a CBS crew, so you guys like know them better, and I know CBS also because I particularly kind of like them better. I'd probably take Burkhardt, Albert, and Kugler. I think they're underrated. I think Joe Davis is honestly better than Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth. Chris Myers, I think he's kind of underrated. He's probably going to be paired with Greg Jennings for this year because I think Dick Stockton retired. But and also another name that a lot of people seem to hate or at least underrate is honestly he's one of my favorite broadcasters. That's why I like being on Sunday night despite the Giants not having success. Is Al Michaels. He's probably I think they're trying to shift Tirico into that role, and I don't have a problem with Tirico. It's just like Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. That's Sunday Night Football, at least to me. You know, he's. Let me
ask you guys this, because I never understood it. Why does everyone hate Chris Collinsworth?
They're trying. I don't think he's that bad of a guy.
I don't think he is either. I always liked his input on games.
Now, obviously, there's those memes. Here's a guy, but I don't think he's that bad.
I never had a problem with it. When you heard his voice, you knew this is a big game. It could have been two of the worst teams playing. This is a big game. It's Sunday Night Football. It has to be important.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're trying to delay it on. I know I'm delaying CBS a little bit, but it just annoys the living hell out of me that ESPN has switched their crew so many times over the course of the last 10 years. You know, before it was Mike Tirico and John Gruden. Then they moved to Sean McDonough, which they should have stayed with, but he opted out and decided to go back to college football. Then you had friggin' Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, and Jason Witten for a year, and then obviously Witten left. Then the next year, obviously, they're not bad, but they're not great. Brian Grease, Steve Levy, and Louis Riddick. So They not favorable for them. And obviously, Joe.
No,
Buck,
ESPN's definitely got to be the worst of the bunch.
yeah. I mean,
I try not to criticize Monday Night Football too much because, with the exception of last year in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh's always done really well on Monday night. So that's why I usually never tried to criticize them, but listening to their broadcast sometimes just. Ugh.
Yep.
God, remember, who was the guy that did the game for us with the Dolphins? Remember we were down 2019 to Miami by 14? Yeah.
I remember
No.
I remember Booger McFarland was drawing some interesting stuff on the broadcasts.
Oh yeah, and let's draw dongs on our broadcast because that's family friendly, right?
It's a family show. What was I going to say with that? CBS. Once again, I'm not an AFC guy, but I like CBS. I happen to like their pregame better. And it seems more organized. Friggin' Fox, it just seems like a bunch of gags. It's like, everything will be funny. No.
They're like ESPN. It's skits.
Yeah, honestly.
Clippers are up 10-2, by the way.
I'm watching.
Clippers are up to the start.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's why I always first thing I did as soon as NFL game day, I would watch NFL game day in the morning on NFL Network. And as soon as 12 o'clock hit, bam, that was when I used to be able to wake up in the morning. Bam, right to CBS. I occasionally flip it to Fox, but even when the Steelers were on Fox, I had CBS Today on first.
Yeah. CBS, I'm gonna let you guys go after, but because I'm not a CBS guy, Iron Eagle, obviously the standard right there. Greg
He's
Gumbel's
so underrated.
Good. Kevin Harlan is also good as well. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. I mean, I don't like the fact that Tony Romo replaced Sims, but
Yeah, no, and Alex obviously can put some bias in that because he's a Giants guy, but even I agree with him. Phil Sims was there longer. He was much better. Just, I get that Tony Romo can, call plays and stuff, but...
Here we go, Jim.
I can't stand him. I truly cannot. Phil Sims, really... they couldn't even give him another spot in broadcasting, as a secondary guy. They just sent him straight to the NFL today, which I thought was so wrong. I think Phil Sims is definitely one of the most underrated announcers. So if there's somebody that could help ESPN, it's Phil Sims. Because ESPN's... Ugh.
Sean, CBS is interviewing Mark Sanchez, Alex Smith, Sean Lee, and then Joey Galloway for analyst positions.
You know what?
They're going in a direction I'm not a fan of.
TV deal. You know what sucks part of this TV deal? ESPN gets a rotation in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I used to, for years, wonder why they were never in that rotation. But over the last few years, I didn't care. Now I'm going to care. You know what I always wondered, too, was how come ABC never got, a huge spotlight for games like they used to? Because ABC is obviously the number one spot for college.
Probably because ABC is now ESPN.
Yeah, pretty much. But if I had to give my favorite announcers from CBS, that's easy. Iron Eagle and his crew. Iron Eagle is easily the most underrated announcer, maybe in all of sports, really. Him and Tirico, I think, are personally the most underrated of the bunch. Luca, I don't know. How often do you guys get Iron Eagle games? I know you guys, we usually share a lot of things.
Iron Eagle actually does our preseason games on CBS.
Well, that is true. That's true.
A treat. We have to be decent to get Iron Eagle. I remember for me, the last time we got him was Week 16 Steelers Jets.
That's right. I remember that. Who's the other guys that you guys usually get? Who do you guys usually get? Greg Gumbel. We get him a lot too.
You know what? I don't understand. Why did they get rid of Dan Fouts?
Yes.
I know. I was just about to say that. That never made sense to me. I never understood that. Now, what I'll ask you guys this: what do you? How would you react if the AFC and the NFC flip flop their broadcasts?
I'd be
Like
happy.
NFC gets CBS, we get Fox. I'll tell you one thing: I would not be happy. I would not be happy.
They should do that one year.
If what you think that I was gonna say, you think that would ever happen?
I hope.
There's probably rights deals in place that prevent that from happening. But
Probably. I wonder how that. Chad, if anybody knows, how did that start to where the AFC and the NFC got their own exclusive networks? If anybody knows that, let us know, because I actually that's something I'd like to learn. Like, how did it become to where the AFC got CBS and the NFC got Fox?
just like
I'm actually kind of curious about that. I tell you what, it'd be a lot weird if it was like MLB or NBA where you had to rely on local broadcasts. Could you imagine that?
It
I'd
would.
be happy.
To be honest, I don't think I'd ever be a Steelers fan, because if that were the case, because it's either Eagles or Steelers up here.
I mean,
So we would probably get Network would probably get the Giants or MSG actually. So maybe I wouldn't even see the Giants. Jets would definitely be
the NFL would be blackout restrictions. That's what it deals with.
Yeah, so you'd have so the Jets would have to be on SNY. Giants are on MSG because I know they got their Giants shows.
Giants would have to be on. Giants are on NBC4 New York. When they do the broadcast,
okay, all right, we're gonna
on NBC.
I'm just saying though, like if they weren't allowed on cable TV, like you had to put them on a sports network in New York. I'm saying. How you doing? They would have to be on MSG if you couldn't put it on like CBS.
No, they would that's where they do all the training camp type stuff. That's what I love watching. And obviously, Luca's favorite show, Giants First and 10.
Mm-hmm. See, what the Steelers do that I really respect is all their stuff that they put on KDKA. They put on YouTube. So I was able to watch a lot of what was going on in training camp because they were live streaming their practices and their scrimmages.
Right.
Well, now that you move into New York, you're going to have to find streaming sites.
I know. Honestly, I'm not even ruling out considering getting just DirecTV when I get my own apartment. I know Fios is better, but they got the NFL package.
DirecTV?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know how good the service is, so I can't really tell you.
I've heard it's good from what I've been told, but that's something I would have to consider.
I hope the internet.
I'll ask you guys this: who's hyped for preseason? Because I really am. It's 2 months away.
Preseason, it's not even funny.
I get a normal preseason. You guys don't. I get 4 games. You guys only get 3. I'm so hyped. I like our schedule. We get 2 NFC East teams, 2 of our biggest rivals out of the NFC East. I'm hyped for the preseason. It's probably said, but we're probably the only podcast that'll ever be hyped for the preseason. But think about it. It's less than 2 months away. August 5th is the first game. Steelers, Cowboys, Fox. Big game to start. 2 rivals. Neutral site. Canton, Ohio. How can you not be excited? Football's right around the corner.
If it was possible, I don't know what your schedule would be at the time. Would you be up for streaming that? Let's just say if you don't work.
Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you this right now. My college schedule. My classes are from 6 to 9. So chances are, if we were to do that, I would not be able to join till like the second half. And that's also not even counting if there's homework.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that's probably going to be the case. So I'd like to. I was considering even going down to Philly again to see the Steelers-Eagles because I know my uncle would like to go. But with my college schedule, I can't do that. It's just, school comes first. That's the first ever time I've ever said that in my life. But college is college. I'm spending a lot of money on this right now. So that's something we'll have to work out.
Don't worry, Sean. You'll still be able to make it to the Giants-Jets preseason game.
Was that on a Friday?
That's on a Friday or a Saturday. I think it's a... Luca, you mind checking that, please? Might be on one of them.
That I can do. That I know I can do. As long as because when I work, I'm gonna try to work morning shifts.
August 14th is actually a Saturday.
It's a weird day.
Okay.
This is
Saturday
like
Night Lights. I like that. Saturday Night Lights.
This is like the first year we've had like all Saturday games. Like I remember being constant Thursday, Friday.
And I like how the last week of the preseason is going to be not all in one night. That's one thing I always hated when it was an all in one night.
Right.
So maybe that bye week, but if there's one pro to the preseason being shortened, is at least they get that like week in between, so we can actually get like Saturday prime time, Sunday prime time. So if there's one pro to our unfortunately shortened preseason schedule, it's that. But I'll ask you guys this: what games? It doesn't have to be Giants, doesn't have to be Jets, doesn't have to be Steelers. What game intrigues you the most this preseason? I don't know if somebody wants to pull up the schedule.
I'm gonna have to look at the schedule for that one. Going to have to look at the schedule for that one.
Yeah.
Just as a notifier, if we don't go to that game against the Giants in preseason, I will be streaming it because I think that would definitely be stream worthy.
Now, Alex, let me ask you this, because I remember we discussed it. If we start hanging out, football Sundays, would you be down for streaming like some of those days if we're not like going to sports bars and stuff?
Yeah, I'd be down. I mean, streaming and it doesn't have to be all Giants games. It could be Steelers. It could be this. It could be that.
Just football in general. If it's red zone,
whether it's.
I love red zone. I don't know anybody that doesn't love red zone.
Fortunately, down here I don't have a red zone. Up there, I have red zone. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But obviously down here, I mean, even if we're not going to a sports bar and we're streaming, the three of us could actually be down here, not just on StreamYard.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm moving in a month. So, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to try to plan out for this football season for you guys, because we know how much you guys love the football stuff that we've been doing.
Yeah. It's kind of the first part of where I built my channel on, and then obviously I moved into baseball, and then obviously we got this thing. So, I forgot what I was going to say. Of course. Any final thoughts on the NFL, football, whatever? Any more like questions that are creative? And then obviously I'll let Luca go into his basketball topics.
I'm just going to say one thing. Like I said, I'm just happy there's preseason again. Like I said, it's a shame because every comment section I read, preseason's pointless. Last year proved we didn't need preseason. Don't give me that crap. Don't start with that crap. Because in reality, everybody knows without preseason, the product wasn't as good and the injuries were up. I don't want to hear it. So be grateful. It's more football. Everybody keeps talking about, we got one more regular season game. That's cool and all, but what's the point without a preseason? Football wouldn't be. It's not the same without it. And we get our traditional preseason rivalries back. You guys get your Giants-Jets game back, which I know you guys have been missing. I get my game with the Eagles. We got the Hall of Fame game. We got our traditional game against Carolina. Luka, obviously his team gets his traditional game against the Eagles because that's the only time they can beat the Eagles. Football's almost back. And with the way the Yankees are playing, even though the Steelers are probably going to break my heart again because that's what they love doing, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for this. Because I have not been able to truly enjoy football season for a couple years with my work schedule. Now that I got a flexible schedule, I have not been this excited for football season in a very long time. And I'm ready for it. Like I said, 2 months.
The year-long Metro card.
Less than 2 months. Huh?
I said you should purchase the year-long Metro card.
I think they did away with that actually. Now I think it's only it's only a month. Stupid, that unfortunately, I already got the first place I'd like to take you guys for football Sunday. I will say I already got a preferred place. I think I already told you about it. The place that I went to once before. Tommy's at Now Mall.
Yeah.
I went there for a game. They have some amazing food. I think that's the first place I want to go to for. I want to take you guys because, like I said, I went there once and that was a lot of fun. My dad can even tell you that because he was there with us. So
did you stay for the full game or you left in the middle?
We stayed for the full game.
Okay.
We got food,
I would love
got
that.
wings, got pizza, everything. It was all Giants fans because the Giants were playing the Cardinals. This was 2 years ago. This was not this past year. When the Giants, did they win against? No, they lost, didn't they? 2019? They did.
Yeah.
They did.
The overrated Cardinals.
Yes, I remember that, and I remember everybody. It was an amazing atmosphere. I will say that, and at least then, if all our teams are playing, we can watch all our teams.
Right.
Yeah.
So, thing is, we'll probably have to like reserve a table or something because again, it's football Sunday. So, one of the many things we're looking forward to.
Obviously, and to keep you guys updated, we formatted the memory stream, but we are looking for a date as of right now.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
Alex, I think you should make a trailer for it. Make a trailer for
with
it.
all the pictures and the nonsense that's been.
It's not a terrible idea. Not a terrible idea.
You gotta go looking on the internet.
The internet.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Google to find our
Go to
pictures.
Google, search Sean Cacaro.
Google it.
Go to Google, search Sean Cacaro.
Go on
I would only get the cringy crap though.
Yeah, that's true. But no, just be on the lookout for that chat because it's coming and it's gonna be a good one. Like I said, we're very close to having a date for that.
Yeah, and obviously that night, depending on like what what night we're thinking about, probably going to be a late one. I mean, it's not going to take 5 hours, but we do. Once again, we're talking
got
about
a lot.
We're talking about summarizing the past 13 years almost.
Yeah,
So,
that's how long we've been friends. As of August, it'll be 13 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information and a lot of fun stuff to get to. Obviously, it's it's going to be a good one. Almost worthy of a trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe it is worth
together actually. Now that you bring it
Yeah.
up.
That's what I would do. Like when when we officially come up with a date, that's when you announce it via a trailer. So be on the lookout for a trailer on Twitter.
Well, or actually on YouTube, who knows?
That too, yeah.
So, ending off on that topic, Luca, you want to talk about the NBA playoffs?
All right, so update right now. I am watching the Los Angeles Clippers and the Utah
That's
Jazz.
smacking Utah.
The Clippers are up by a score of 26-10. Utah leads the series 2-1. Last night, the Denver Nuggets were swept by the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference semifinals, and now they will play for a chance to go to the finals, the NBA Finals. Also, what happened last night, I know TD's a Nets fan. The Brooklyn Nets lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't remember the score.
Kyrie's out game 5.
Kyrie, did you say Kyrie's out for game 5?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay. So Kyrie got injured. He has an ankle sprain. Some people think Giannis did Kyrie dirty, but you have to go back and look at that play, which I don't think he did him dirty. But regardless, the Nets are now in a 2-2 situation. The game will be in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, I believe tomorrow or Wednesday. It will be a very enticing series since the Milwaukee shooting's been very good. And that is a 3. Milwaukee shooting's been very good, especially in Game 4. First 3 games wasn't so good, very grinded out kind of games. And now that 2 of the stars for Brooklyn, Kyrie and James Harden, are out, 2 of the key contributors, now leaves everything to Durant and the role players. So that will be a very interesting series in itself. And obviously, another thing that happened tonight, the Philadelphia 76ers lost the Atlanta Hawks by a score.
They were up big.
Yeah, at one point they were, but
They were up big.
and now the series is evened at 2 apiece. Next game will be in Philly. And
I personally think, all right, who do you think wins that series? Because I still got Philly.
I'm taking Philly in the long run. I personally want Phoenix to win the finals just so Chris Paul can get a ring. They're such a likable squad. No offense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your team is not likable.
So people in the chat may not like that.
All right, so we got an update from Adrian Wojnarowski. NBA's competition committee met Monday to further explore rule changes to restrict unnatural motions on jump shots players use to draw fouls. NBA wants to limit players like Trae Young and James Harden from leading backwards, forwards, and sideways to draw fouls. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I said it earlier, and it's almost like going to have to. The refs, nothing will change, even if they try to enable that, because the refs are blind. They stupid. They need it. Not just the NBA. This actually came from football. You need they need like a sky judge thing, so like they can correct a bad call, like they had in the AAF. That's something a lot of sports need, and I think that NBA will be a good place to start.
An MLB update. Jeff Passan just wrote this article. MLB players caught with any foreign substance will be facing a 10-day suspension. That includes sunscreen mixed with rosin to spider tack, whatever, any substance.
So that's gonna slow down. The only thing allowed.
That's gonna slow pace of play because you have umpires friggin' checking that every pitch.
That's ridiculous. I get the foreign substance thing, but that's ridiculous. We're gonna check 8 to 10 times a game.
Just have someone look at just have someone in the dugout like friggin' watching.
Yeah, have like a security. Have someone. He's like a witness protection program. Have like somebody tailing the pitcher all the time.
If they go into the clubhouse, if they got to go to the clubhouse, they come back. You inspect them. That's all.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, I don't understand.
Oh, real quick, Luca, do you want to read that thing you were talking about earlier? Those proposals with like the blackout restrictions and the ticket prices. You want to get into that? Because I'm leaving in about 13 minutes, and I do want to get into that real quick.
I just saw it. What was I thinking? Oh, can I ask you guys something? If we don't end up going to the 9/11 Yankees-Mets game, you want to stream it?
Oh, yeah, I'd be down for that. As long as,
Yeah. All right, so. This person wrote it as a joke. Let me share the screen. I'm going to hurry this up. So this person says, while MLB is cracking down on things, may I recommend adding paying minor leaguers, lowering ticket prices, eliminating blackout restrictions, and adding more bat dogs.
Okay, I like paying minor leaguers. That I do like. Okay. The blackout restrictions, again, I don't think you can do nothing about that because that's an FCC thing. So I don't know that's something that they can do. I'd love for that to be the case because then I wouldn't have to pay for cable when I move to, New York. More bat dogs, that's just kind of something that they had in for the Trenton Thunder. I know people could take that how they like. Lowering ticket prices, that needs to be done for some ballparks. Like the Yankees, Yankee Stadium is definitely one of them. One of them, right? Especially right now. So some of them I'm okay with. Others I'm a little mixed about. But sound off. What do you guys think?
Well, I also want to say lowering ticket price is going to come at the command of the stadium and the team.
That's true.
Yeah.
But is there any need, though, for a pizza that's like the size of my hand at Yankee Stadium to be $9? Or a soda to be $9 or whatever?
Milkshake.
I read a comment here as this person.
Chicken buckets, $20. That's a little much.
Then you got somebody.
We have more fries than chicken.
Literally. Then you got somebody in favor of eliminating the shift. It robs the game of action. 2 infielders on the left side of second or on the dirt or the infielder's grass. Same for the right side of second, blah, 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 blah.
I agree with that.
Mike G says, I do not mind the shift. It's up to the batter to slap a bunt down or hit the opposite way and force the other team to think twice about the shift on the batter.
I like that. The shift has gotten too far. Like, I don't mind, moving guys around, but There's no need to have 4 outfielders. There's no need for 3 guys to be on one side of the. That just shows that you have no faith in your fielders to make the play.
Can I bring up Alex? Can I bring up the tweets I bookmarked about family stuff?
You might as well.
All right. Let me find it here. Notification
Family stuff.
bookmarks. Here we go.
A lot of family value stuff was mentioned, and it's not very thought out either.
Okay, so
Prepare yourself for that.
Alex. So this tweet says every team must have 25 home games in which both children under 17 and adults over 57 are not allowed.
Anyone that thinks that does not deserve to have an opinion about literally anything.
That's probably one of the most ridiculous opinions I've ever heard, quite honestly.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Stop the hipster uniform changes.
Nothing wrong with the changes. I like a lot of them. Southside unis, those are fire.
Are we talking about like the city? Excuse me.
I'm assuming it's the city unis.
What about the players' uniforms?
The problem is
the players' uniforms. I couldn't stand the black and white. That was dumb. But I didn't mind them like the year prior.
Right. And the next question is more complicated. Fix worker visa issues for Central and South American players in the minor leagues. And I'm going to remove that from my bookmarks. Then you got this guy. He's replying to a tweet, which I just went over. Definitely the ticket pricing. Affordable family plans or family days would be great. Major League Sports is losing generations of followers with most families priced out of the market.
I got
Did they even do that back then?
I'm sure they probably didn't cost an arm and a leg to go to a game back then.
Well, why is it gotta be family style though?
That I agree with. You want your whole family to go, then take your whole family. Why do you need whole packages for that? How do I know it's not 6 random people that never even met before?
Exactly.
It's
because we were talking about earlier today, like the DH and the NL and how it would be useful, not pitchers just doing at bats for no reason. Just make the DH optional then, so then teams can decide whether a pitcher can or can't hit.
Alex, I'm gonna push for something. We're gonna go Little League with this. Every person on the team should be able to hit.
Yes, 13.
Because that's what we're gonna do.
Hold on, we gotta do this now. So that's the basic 9. DH, left center fielder, right center fielder. That's 12. 12 people.
Catcher.
We got to expand
and you
the
need a pitcher fielder.
30-man rosters. We have to expand the rosters to 30-man rosters.
Everyone plays.
Yes. And then the one idiot said that DH is already optional in the American League.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
When has that ever been a thing?
And then somebody say like the worst thing the American League did was do the DH.
Put in the DH. And somebody also
said that we want to watch 9 real hitters and not 1 fake one.
Somebody also said that the NL teams are easily favored when interleagues come in, when interleague matchups happen.
Yeah, because when the National League team comes in, they finally get 9 real hitters.
And they say that too. Somebody said that too about the ballparks. Like if you go to a National League ballpark, the National League team is favored.
Well, yeah, because the American League hitter can't. The pitcher can't hit.
I swear to God, people just need brains. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. But actually, I might want to end this off on a team note, meaning that all of us pretty much just maybe log off earlier than usual. But is there anything else anyone wants to talk about?
Well, I want to question something. Yeah, I want to question something the MLB did. Are they really banning sunscreen on players? Because how are you supposed to protect yourself from the sun?
You're supposed to burn.
That is true.
Like, did the MLB ever think of that?
No.
No, but remember, they're never wrong either.
Yeah, Manfred never thinks of anything. Everything's about himself.
So, Jeff Passan had a little stream of tweets in corresponding with his article. He says, that said, foreign substances are an institutional issue used by players, taught by some teams, embraced by plenty of coaches, big leagues, minor leagues, college, beyond. The hope is that players, umpires, teams, and the league can work together to fix the festering problem. One point I heard over and over from players, if MLB is going to draw a hard line, pitchers will have no access to grip agents. And with nothing, not even sunscreen and rosin, their fear of controlling the ball, the original reason for grip enhancers becomes very palpable.
Pitching's going to be all over the place if they give it a rosin.
Yeah.
I mean, friggin'. That was. They're going to get extreme with this, and it's not going to. And the players.
It's not going to end well. Like I said, MLB's already in such a war with itself between the Players Association and the owners. MLB's not in a good state right now. Between all the money that
freaking protest like 1994. Absolutely not, Joseph.
Yeah, right.
I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I'm the true GOAT.
No, without Mia Luka, you're nothing.
People are asking if the suspension would be with pay. Somebody
the suspension is with pay, by the way.
Somebody said, with pay, gonna make an ump go out there and lick my arm to taste the sunblock and liquefied plastic mixture between pitches. Tastes funky, but I still get paid for striking people out. Okay.
Lick.
Moving on. I thought we were going to keep this G-rated, but I guess not.
Licking the arm.
Moving on. Next.
Okay. Actually, I want to end it on this one. I want to ask Sean, and we could get to ours if we want, but we already answered this question. And this is way off topic from what we were talking about this whole stream. Okay, Sean. You get this. You have a breakfast.
I know.
You have a lunch. You have a snack. Then you have a dinner. This is green. It could be any combo, whatever your favorite. Go ahead. Remember, the sequence is breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Dessert, too.
Wait, so I'm basically naming my favorite snack, my favorite lunch, breakfast, dinner? That's what I'm doing?
You want to, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Like your dream stuff.
Favorite breakfast, French toast. That's easy. French toast is unbeaten.
See, I don't care what anybody says. I would do it Frosted Flakes and IHOP pancakes.
IHOP pancakes are good. I will say that. My mother's is better, though. French toast for breakfast.
Different, apparently, according to Joseph.
I've never had one. I've heard they're good, though. Neither do I. I've heard they're good, but that's not my thing. Favorite lunch? The thing with me is I don't eat a lot of lunch. I eat more breakfast than I do lunch because I don't wake up till 12, 1 o'clock when I don't have to work. Favorite lunch? I ate a lot of frozen pizza for lunch, so I'm going to have to go with that. Like Elio's or something, or Totino's. Favorite dinner? That's easy. My mother's chicken cutlets are amazing. Yes, French toast is the best.
Why are you doing this? It's this.
Yeah, it is this.
Alex.
Yeah, and my favorite
eggs, Alex. Why don't you eat eggs?
Eggs are good. I like eggs. Scrambled anyway. I don't like regular eggs. I like scrambled. My favorite snack, that's easy. I have it right here. Tostitos Cantina chips. You cannot beat it. That's my favorite snack.
Dinner?
Favorite dinner, chicken cutlets. My mother's chicken cutlets. Chat, you're gonna hate me for this. I'm not a sweets person.
Boo.
I don't really do ice. I don't do ice cream and stuff like that. So my favorite dessert's popcorn. I get a lot of hate for that, but I'm not much of a sweets person.
Boo.
White cheddar cheese at Grooves.
White cheddar cheese.
I haven't had Cheez-Its in ages.
I'm not a cheese person. In terms of
burger. All right, I like that.
Yeah, a burger.
How do you eat your burger, Joseph?
No,
I know. Alex like his chicken medium rare.
I'm pretty sure somebody asked me. I could have sworn one time somebody asked me in a restaurant or was a waiter or something, how do you want your chicken cooked? I'm like, what?
Medium rare, Alex, medium rare chicken does exist.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah, that's like
medium rare.
That's like in the original Grown Ups movie. Remember when they made like the pancakes that they wouldn't cook over like a certain temperature, and they were great. That's what that reminds me of. I'm only kidding when I say that. Yeah, dehydrated fruit.
Just so you know, Sean does eat a medium well burger or steak.
Yes. Well, my steak, I like medium well. My burger's medium.
True story, Chad. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Outback Steakhouse, and once I cut all of the fat and the actual steak off, my steak looked like a gun, and I held it with my bare hands.
Bro, I went to Friday. I hung out with 2 friends from work. We went to Applebee's. I ordered a steak. Bro, the thing was so freaking small. We ended up getting more food after.
God damn.
Was it smaller than the Chop House steak?
Actually, yes.
That's a record.
It actually was smaller. Chop House is actually, guys, there's a place in Manhattan that we went to once for food. Amazing food. Unfortunately, per these guys, they shut down, but
yeah, they were good food. And then Luca took the place. Obviously, that's for the memory stream.
I'll hang around. Actually, that's another stream worth considering. A favorite stream where we talk about our favorite things. That might be something worth. We'll have that one. That's a bit of a challenge to create, but that might not be a horrible idea.
We gotta take Sean to the Perfect Pint in Midtown. Their burgers are the best.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, Sean's Irish as well, so.
The first neighborhood I want to explore. Yes. First place I want to explore in New York. There's 2 places I want to go see first. Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, because that's the real Little Italy. Jesus. Not, the Manhattan one, Chinatown's taken over. So, I want to see the real authentic Little Italy in the Bronx. And I want to see Dumbo, New York. Because I hear it's got like the coolest views of like, the Brooklyn Bridge, the New York skyline, and it's got Grimaldi's. Those are the two places I want to see first, because they got Brooklyn Bridge Park. That's because when I move there, there's a lot of places I want to explore, but those are the first 2 that come to mind for me.
We gotta walk the Brooklyn Bridge.
He's gonna do Muppet style sightseeing.
Yeah. Yeah, what like it's friggin' Family Guy.
Freaking taking pictures.
If anybody gets that reference.
Yeah, if anyone's watching.
Yeah.
That.
Anybody that's Family Guy knows that reference.
Yeah. With that being said, it is 11:03, and pretty much I think we're pretty much done for the night. Sean, Luca, and me, in that order, give our final thoughts and final topics.
It was a good stream. I liked our breakdown of the Yankees. Philly, I hope you got the message. If not, go back and rewatch it, because I mean everything I say about that, that city. And I'm not talking about everybody from Philly. I do want to say that there are good people that come out of Philly. My uncle, a couple friends I know, but all in all, I will never tolerate disrespect to the greatest city in the world, being New York. Otherwise, Yankees, they got to prove me wrong. What is stream that? Yeah, no problem, Joseph. Anytime. I appreciate my number 1 fan on the in the chat, or viewers. I appreciate it, bro. It was a lot of fun having you on.
Okay.
But the Yankees need to get it going, and like we said, we're getting ready for football season, and I'm hyped. Well, that's something we gotta do the week before preseason starts. We gotta do a football season preview, not just our teams. Football, all of football, or maybe a preseason preview than a regular season preview. That's something I'd be down for.
All right, Luca.
Very good stream talking about food. I hope we actually have this food stream. That would be hella nice. I just hope we don't.
That would be.
I just hope we don't bring up the cereal conversation when it
Oh,
comes.
of course,
to
we're going to bring in the cereal.
Oh, that's going to be in there whether we want it or not.
Maybe favorite cereals would be good, but anyways, not the point.
No, that's why I said we got to do a stream where like we just talk about our favorite things. You know, maybe other than sports. Favorite place in New York, you know, favorite food, you know, favorite dinners, just stuff like that. I feel like it'd be tough to format, so we'll have to take some time to do that. But no, that could be fun. That could be fun. So at least then after the memory stream, we can do something like that so people can get to know us better.
Hey, guys, can I show you guys something real quick? It's real split. We have Cinnamon Toast Crunch pancakes.
Stop! Ew! Ew! I'm not showing. No, stop! No! Don't you ever bring that crap back on. What is that? What have you been researching, my guy?
We also got a Cinnamon Toast Crunch shake.
I'm not showing that. That literally looks like a turtle decided to puke on a freaking pancake.
How about Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Oh my god!
He said it. He said it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So who said that before? Was that Alex who said that? Made that mistake.
Said that before.
It was Luca. That's 2 times he said that.
Cinnamon
now. That's 2
Crunch.
times.
Let's go, baby.
And then there's Cinnamon Toast Crunch sticky buns, and somebody says, "I want to make sweet potato filled cinnamon buns."
Luca, I'm not going to kick him for that. What you just said. I mean, that's
Joseph says, "I swear." Every stream, it feels like we always talk about cereal. Yeah, I don't know how.
Somehow,
I don't know how. I don't know where it came, what started it, but for some reason, cereal's in every discussion. I don't know why. It just does. I got no explanation. Explanation. Jesus, I need to go to bed. Yeah. I gotta be up in 5.5 hours.
Luca.
Otherwise, fun stream. The Yankees need to prove us all wrong. Hopefully they do. My gut says they won't. And, yeah, that's pretty much that.
Well, I enjoyed another discussion full of Yankees ripping and criticizing them once again. And now you have, other topics like NFL commentators. And I was thinking about saving it towards the regular season, but I'm like, you know what? Nobody's talking about NFL right now, so we'll just go off topic and just think of something. Because a lot of people, once again, are very strict in terms of like what they're making in terms of content, and they start with clickbait crap. Here, you obviously get favorite commentators, stuff like that. We always allow the chat to ask questions, NBA playoffs, whatever. And once again, like me and Sean are not the biggest NBA fans. Luca's there; he's there to answer the questions, stuff like that. I
will say when NFL season gets here, this show will get a lot better.
Right.
I can't wait for when the NFL season gets here because then we can talk about our teams, talk about what's going on in football. Don't get me wrong. I love when we talk Yankees. I love when we talk Knicks. But football is just different. Football is just different because it doesn't. We got 3 different teams, and football it's a short season, 17 weeks plus the playoffs. That's not a lot. So football is just different. I cannot wait. Guys, be ready for when football, even preseason. Our preseason talks are going to be a lot of fun too, because we'll break preseason down better than I guarantee you. We will break preseason down better than any other person, any other show. I will say that I have true confidence in this show that we will do a better preseason breakdown than the rest of these NFL podcasters. To be honest, if you play 2K, you will learn NBA. That's how. Yeah. I started playing. First game I ever played was 2K15, so I understand the NBA. Like I know the Knicks from like 2K, but watching them in real life, it still takes a little bit to learn from because I don't even live in New York yet.
See, it's two.
But that's how I learned.
It's me getting good at playing the sport because I'm not that good at basketball. I'm good at baseball, and I'm good at football. Not tackling, obviously.
He claims he is.
I mean, obviously, that's different for me and Luca. But basketball, I'm obviously I haven't spent a lot of time, and I haven't spent a lot of time playing 2K. So that and not being great at basketball, I guess those things kind of sync, and that's why I'm not as a huge fan. I will be there though because I'm going to try my best, and hopefully we get more engaged discussions in terms of that. But hey, another fun stream. We always find a way to go off topic, but civilized in that manner. No bullshit, no roasting sessions or any weird crap like that. With that being said.
Yeah.
Memory stream coming soon. Sean just thought of another idea in terms of a favorite stream. NFL, and I hate to pain myself with the statement, but I've never been so excited for the NFL season, preseason, whatever, because the Yankees suck right now. And I just never have been so excited in my life for the NFL season. Never have.
Like I said, me too. Because I haven't been this excited in years because it's a new thing that's getting thrown my way. We'll actually be watching games together. You know, we're all adults now, so we can. Well, you guys will be adults by the time the season starts. You know, we'll be able to go out, do more things, go watch games at sports bars, stuff like that. It's gonna be good. I think I actually have to agree with Alex. You know, considering I don't agree with him that much because it's Alex after all, and I run the show along with Luca. But no, I've never been so excited for football season. And the Steelers may not be great, but you know what? It's a new experience for all of us that we're gonna get to enjoy, and I could not be more excited, especially for this stream. Like I said before, this stream is gonna get so much better when football gets here.
And the trash talk because all of our favorite teams are different.
Oh yeah. All three of our teams.
Daniel Jones is going to fumble.
All of our teams are in such different paths right now. Alex's team's on the rise. Pittsburgh's got to figure that out. The Jets are still in the early stages of rebuilding after their tank. So it's going to be all our teams are in different paths. So it's going to be it's a diverse show, which I like. You don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah. And a lot of these shows, you just get agreeing opinions among fans. I mean, now here, we don't agree on a lot of things in terms of I'm on Alex's side with the Giants on this one. Of course, yes. Let's go Giants. It'll be better than these two teams. And Luca, we'll get there with the trash talk because Luca thinks the Giants are going to be the most overrated team in the NFL this season.
Well, remember, according to PFF, the Jets got a better chance to win the Super Bowl, so there is that.
Yeah, how would they reliable in any fashion? But with that,
it's PFF. They have to be. You know that.
Yeah, because Fox Sports uses them, that makes them relevant. Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
With that being said, guys, 7:13. See you guys next Monday, and obviously I'll have content coming out during the week, videos, that stuff. So peace out. Stay cool. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.